in this venue. Over in the west end of Glasgow, the Scotstoun Stadium has had a revamp, a facelift here for the Commonwealth Games. And this new track surface has produced some phenomenal times, phenomenal performances so far. And we've still got 2.5 days to go, which is good news for fans of our sport. This evening, we're going to have 7 finals. We're going to move through the decathlon. That's got a few more events this evening. The semi-finals of the men's and the women's 200 metres. And then we're on to finals, the likes of the women's T47 100, the men's T12 100. We saw them in the heats last night. Discus final for women. Triple jump final for women as well. And we're going to finish with the women's 100 metre hurdles final featuring world record holder Tobi Amusan of Nigeria. She's going for 3 consecutive titles. There's lovely images of the crowds coming in. Kind conditions for spectators and for athletes this evening. It's been a little bit windy all day and it's kept the rain at bay. We're going to start tonight's programme with a good number of medal ceremonies, 4 to kick us off from some of the action that happened last night. The men's discus throw, F42, F44, F61, F64 category, the women's heptathlon, the women's 3,000 metre steeplechase and the men's 100 metre T47. And then we'll get stuck into the action there. You can see the men's shot put final on tonight. Tom Walsh of New Zealand going for 3 consecutive titles. Then we'll get it stuck into those men's 200 metre semi-finals. The decathletes start with the high jump and we'll have the triple jump. For women, those 2 para 100 metre races, the women's 200 metre semi-finals, women's discus final, 2 men's 800 metre semi-finals. The decathlon's final event of today will be the 400 metres and the women's 5,000 metre final and that women's 100 metre hurdles final. Lovely shots of some of the athletes and coaches just arriving in to the warm-up area. There's an outdoor area for some of the athletes, an indoor track and a throws area as well. You can see Zarnell Hughes of England just getting himself limbered up for those men's 200 metre semi-finals. And that really says something about the weather that these guys have chosen to set up outside. Some of the endurance runners utilising the outdoor area to do some of their jogging. That's Thea Lafond of Dominica. She'll be going for gold in the women's triple jump. I'm delighted this week to be joined by Danny Crates, Paralympic 800 metre champion, and Tim Hutchings, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist. And guys, we're set for another lovely evening of athletics here.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an exciting evening this evening. We've got a couple para-athletics events coming up, as Hannah mentioned. 2 100 metres, the women's T47 for athletes with an upper arm impairment, and the men's 100 metre for T11 and T12 athletes with a vision impairment. So that's really exciting. But the stadium's been glorious. We've had some changeable weather, it's fair to say, here in Glasgow. But one thing that hasn't changed is the atmosphere and the passion of the crowd through all the weather. The end stadiums, which are out in the open, they've got no protection. The crowd was there during the driving rain yesterday, sitting there with their ponchos on, getting behind the athletes, and that hasn't changed. And it's been a fantastic atmosphere, really lifting the performances on the track, I think, Tim.
Yeah, they were getting behind the athletes and they were getting very, very wet as well. But I tell you what, they make them tough up here. I think they're probably a bit more used to it than us southern softies, as we're often called by anybody north of Watford. But yeah, it's been a really good day today, in particular because the rain has stayed away. It's been windy, but it's been sunny, and there've been some fabulous performances. The wind has helped the athletes in the long jump this morning and the triple jump as well. And down the home straight, of course, it's ensured we've had really quick times to boot. So yeah, it's all looking really good, Danny, as we enter the second half of this 6-day global championship. 74 nations, the Commonwealth, I think 72 of them here at the Athletics. And yeah, so much to look forward to in this 4th evening session.
We have, yeah, it's really exciting. And me personally, obviously, we've got these para-athletics events kicking off, but the men's 800 metres is looking very, very hot this year. We've got the 3 medalists from Birmingham going in the 3 semi-finals, so it's looking like a really, really exciting men's 800 metre going off this evening. Looking out on the track, the sun's just coming out. I know we talk about the weather a lot. We're trying not to, but there is a lot to talk about. But the sun is coming out, so it's looking like it's going to be a beautiful evening for the athletes tonight.
Well, it's an outdoor sport. It's a sport that thrives in great weather, and I think we don't have to apologise for talking about the weather. Some of you might think we talk about it too much. Well, we don't. We simply tell you what's going on because we're here in the arena. We have the luxury of being high up above the finish line and enjoying a glorious view of pretty much all the action here at the Scotstoun Stadium. And there have been, our sound guy sitting next to us this morning was sitting there with several layers on and a big blanket over him. I think he's French, but that's no excuse. I'd have probably been the same if I was him. I mean, we're lucky because we keep busy, Danny, and we're charging around preparing and trying to squeeze food down our necks and then running up here and getting on air. A lot of the people working on these championships, their work day is not necessarily as intense physically. And I say that with tongue in cheek because we sit here and just talk for a few hours. But if you're in the shade and you've got this wind coming at you, it can be a little bit parky at times.
Yeah, although I don't think I'd have swapped places with the track officials the other night when they got absolutely drenched out there. It's a reminder of the people that make this beautiful sport, athletics, possible. I think as an athlete, when you compete, you just don't have an understanding of what goes on around the track and how many people are involved. And I think even the spectators, you're so focused on the action that's going on in the field or on the track. It's only when you open your eyes a little bit more and you see there may be 8 competitors out there racing on a track, but there's about 60, 70 people around just always staying out the way, always doing their job diligently, professionally, that make this sport happen. And it's only when you sit there and you watch that rain come down and you watch them still out there delivering, you realise it's a special group of people that make this sport possible.
And you make a really good point, actually. I mean, I feel guilty now looking back. I mean, my period as a competitor in the sport was pretty much the 1980s, from the mid-70s as a youngster through to 1990. And I never gave a second thought to all the officials, the fact they were giving of their time for nothing, and out there in all the elements, whether it was sunny or raining or cold or warm, whatever. And you become more aware of it when you sit up here high in the stands and you look down it and you see the degree of coordination, the choreography going on around the arena, with sometimes several field events on the infield, track events going on, barriers being put out and removed. I mean, you need an army. I think I read a couple of days ago there's 170 officials working on this event, and they're all giving their time for nothing and in dramatically professional, unexpected, with an unexpected attitude. They don't expect massive thanks. They don't expect massive pay or even a hot cup of coffee. This camera lady I was talking to the other night was saying, out there for hours, got drenched from head to toe, and not a cup of tea. And absolute saint. She might have been getting paid. I don't know, but I didn't envy her position for that evening. That was the night before last, wasn't it? When it rained. Yeah, it was biblical rain. And you get that in London, you get it everywhere.
You see some beautiful shots of the stadium from up high. We're still just over half an hour away from our first action on the track. So the stadium is just starting to fill up. Me and Tim have just legged it in from our preparation room, hot-footed it up the stairs. And but before the track action gets underway, we've got some medal ceremonies from last night's action. First up is the men's discus throw from para-athletics for the classes F42-44 and 61-64. There are athletes with a lower limb impairment. Some wear prosthesis, some don't. You can hear the music. I don't know if you can hear the music as well. The DJ is really getting the atmosphere going really well here. So here we have the start of the men's discus medal ceremony for the F42-44, F62-44, for athletes with a lower limb impairment. Being led out by the third medal position, Akim Stewart from Trinidad and Tobago. These are the big men of parasport. They won't mind me saying that. It's meant in a nice way. Presentation party just being acknowledged to the crowd. So the bronze medalist represented Trinidad and Tobago, Akeem Stewart. The silver medalist representing Sri Lanka, Halifa Halagaya-Wela. The gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion representing Wales, Aled Davies. Your medalists from the men's discus throw para-athletics classes T44 to F44 to F64. Aled Davies, such an experienced competitor, and it still means so much to him after all those global titles. Stadium's just starting to fill now. We are about half an hour from our first track action this evening.
So next medal ceremony here at Scotstoun is for the women's heptathlon. 2 days of action coming to a conclusion last night with the 800 meters, but there was really only one athlete in it. A truly stunning performance over the 2 days, 4 events on Tuesday, 3 yesterday by Catherine O'Connor of Northern Ireland. And just to round things off for the Northern Irish, Anna Macaulay, her teammate, took the silver with Maddie Wilson of New Zealand taking a brilliant bronze. O'Connor winning with 6.5, 6.9 points, and what a 2 days she put together. She really is one of those hard-working multi-eventers who doesn't have an Achilles heel, doesn't have a weak event. Day one in the 100 hurdles, the high jump, the shot put, and the 200. She ran through and jumped magnificently. And likewise yesterday, 6.37 in the long jump, 52 meters in the javelin, and 2.10 in the 800 meters to win that individual event. Tori West, well, she had a heck of a couple of days. 13.55 in the hurdles, 1.70 in the high jump, 12.51 in the shot, and then 24.60 was a good 200. And in the long jump, 6.13. One of her weaker disciplines, that, but her javelin was strong, 47.24, and then a 2.15 in the 800 for that bronze behind the Northern Irish brace of greats. Jade O'Dowda taking the silver. In the 800 that the Northern Irish took first and second. My error. O'Dowda 6.278 for her total. 291 points, the winning margin for Kate O'Connor of Northern Ireland. Looks like she's recovered well, doesn't she? Wow. She was behind O'Dowda in the hurdles, but bettered her in the high jump. She was behind her in the shot put, but bettered her in the 200. They were trading performances in effect. Northern Irish anthem now. Mary Peters had that national anthem played for when she took Commonwealth Games gold back in 1970. This time around, it's down to Kate O'Connor. And that was very special indeed for the Northern Irish lass, who will, in British colours, be competing in the European Championships just next week, frankly. I mean, as soon as these championships, these Commonwealth Games are over on Saturday, and there's a week's break and 8 days break, and on the Monday week, this coming Monday, a week later, will be the European Championships in Birmingham. What a championships those promise to be, with all the big names, as far as I can make out, in just about every discipline turning out.
Aled Davies making his way around the stadium. Proud Welshman, multi-Paralympic, multi-world champion, 2 times Commonwealth champion. It's one of the great elements of this Commonwealth Games, the integrated para-athletics programme, where the athletes are actually part of the athletics programme. The crowd getting to see para-athletics, for some of them for the first time, and truly being introduced to what para-athletics is and what some of these athletes are really capable of.
The presentation ceremony now for the women's 3,000 metre steeplechase, where there was a degree of anticipation and justified anticipation in the direction of the gold medal. It went to a Kenyan, of course, but an English vet split 2 East Africans for the silver medal. Was a games record, 9 minutes almost broken last night, and that is pretty rare despite the wind and the relative cold. Of course, ironically, of all athletes, the steeplechasers don't mind a little bit of water around. They're pretty used to it for obvious reasons. But Paul Turgat, former world record holder at 10,000 metres and marathon and half marathon. Delightful fella, Paul. Good friend and a massively consistent racer through the 1990s and the noughties for Kenya. 3-time, I think, a world cross-country champion. There, Peruth Chemutai, who took the bronze medal for Uganda, 9:09.96. She was looking tired in the latter stages, Chemutai. She, of course, the Olympic champion from 2021, Olympic silver medalist in Paris 2 years ago. Elise Thorner, well, this was truly magnificent, this run from Thorner. Only about a second behind the British record, running for England last night. Set a personal best of 9:05.45 for that silver medal. She finished like an absolute train over the last 2 or 3 laps, and with only about 3 laps to go, was a long way behind the African pairing, but came through to catch Chemutai, and I think another lap and she might have caught Cheretich. But it is Faith Cheretich of Kenya who is champion in that new games record, 9:01.76, and frankly, it looked like she could probably have gone quicker. Well, Cheretich, of course, the Olympic champion, the world champion back in 2025, Olympics bronze medalist in 2024 in Paris, coached by former Dutch athlete Piet de Putte and Bernard Rono. A lifetime best, 8:48. of the quickest athletes in history. She's run 8:51 this year, so she had a 10-second cushion coming home last night in 9:01. But there they are, Kenya, England, Uganda. And the performance that really stands out there, not because I'm English, but because of the nature of the run, was that of Elise Thorner, who has a huge future. She looked full of running as she came down the home straight for that silver medal, and I believe can go down under 9 minutes and perhaps threaten the European record of 8:58.
We're just looking at the women warming up for the T47 100 meters that we're bringing you later this evening. See, these athletes are with an upper limb impairment. Some will potentially use prosthetic limbs, some will use starting aids. Just going through their final bits of preparation. Steeplechasers just enjoying their final moments of their medal presentation, waving to the crowd. Sometimes it's a shame you can't get your medal on the evening that you actually win it, but then the stadium's empty out very, very quickly towards the end of the ceremony, towards the end of the session. So they get back to come back in here in front of a much bigger crowd. He didn't want it. He didn't want his winner's mascot.
Please welcome into the arena the athletes who will contest the Commonwealth Games final in the women's triple jump.
Our final medal ceremony at the start of this evening's session is going to be the men's 100-meter T47 presentation. These are for athletes with an upper limb impairment.
The medal ceremony for the men's 100 meters T45 to T47. Glasgow, please welcome the medalists.
Medalist being led out by Kevin Santos from England, the bronze medalist.
The medals and gifts will be presented by the Chief Executive Officer of Auburn UK, Andrea Midler. And Secretary General CGA Jersey, Graham Julie. Bronze medalist representing England, Kevin Santos.
The bronze medalist representing England, Kevin Santos. This was a fantastic final. 5 athletes all dipping below the 11-second mark.
Silver medalist representing India, Mohammed Basil Morsingaka.
The silver medalist representing India, Mohammed Basil Mohsin Anakath. the Commonwealth champion, Dilip Mahadu Gavit from India. And India 1-2 in men's T47 100 metres. Each athlete getting a unique FIDE mascot.
Those who are able to, please stand for the anthem of India. Once again, please show your appreciation for the Commonwealth Games medalists.
And that concludes our 4 medal ceremonies in this day 4 evening session of the athletics and para-athletics. Brilliant. Gold and silver for India, and bronze for England. Medal table getting nice and busy. Still Australia up the top with a total of 3 golds. We've also got 3 golds for Canada and Jamaica, but Australia have the most number of medals in total with 9. 20 countries on the medal table already. Single medals down the bottom for the Isle of Man, Rwanda, Trinidad and Tobago and Uganda. I wonder if we'll add any more nations here this evening. 7 finals coming up. Men's shot put is due underway first. That's starting in around about 6 or 7 minutes. All the moves and all the merch on this girl. Looks like she's having a lovely time. Here's a finalist for the women's triple jump. Thea Lafond, the Olympic champion for Dominica, hasn't won this title yet. She'd love to pick up the gold today. She's in good form, recently broke her own national record with 15:25. Spectators being asked to sing "No Glasgow, No Party." They're having a go as the sunshine drenches the Scotstoun Stadium here in Glasgow. Lovely scenes. It's getting sunnier as the day goes on, and there's our daily fireworks display. Only in the evenings, those fireworks. We don't get them in the morning as well. They give the locals a bit of a break just once a day. Just nearing in on 7 p.m. local time here in Glasgow. And lots of spectators still making their way into the stadium outside. let's go and have a look at this men's shot put final. It is a straight final here in Glasgow. No, it's not. They had qualification. It was a straight final in the women's. Sarah Mitten won that last night. It was a qualification round yesterday morning for these shot put men. And here's the 12 that progressed. See Tom Walsh there throwing number 4 for New Zealand. Won this title the last 2 times. Actually, a Commonwealth Games record in 2018 when he took the title in the Gold Coast at 22 metres 45. No one has ever won this title 3 times in a row. And Tom Walsh very much dialed in to try and make it 3 in a row for him and for New Zealand. You can see they're just assembling the 12 men into throwing order, and hopefully we'll have time to zoom down and have a look at each of them. This is the opening final here of 7 in this evening session. So lots of Commonwealth Games champions to crown and medals to hand out. The first of the men's 200-metre semi-finals just being walked round as well to their start line. This is Samardeep Singh Gill of India, national champion last year. Detagawa of Nauru will throw second. He's their national record holder as well with 17 metres 19. This is Aidan Smith of South Africa, through 20 metres 89 in March. And the African champion this year. Tom Walsh full of smiles as he tries to make it a hat-trick of Commonwealth Games titles. Already had 1 gold for New Zealand with Zoe Hobbs in the women's 100. Chukwuebuka Onyekwuchi of Nigeria will throw 5th. He got silver in 2018, but he was off the podium in Birmingham in 4th. He's African record holder at 22 metres 10. Nick Palmer of New Zealand won their national championships this year, actually through 21.19 in June. Dejimon Gums of the British Virgin Islands is up next. He was 10th in Birmingham last time we had this championships. Scott Lincoln was the bronze medalist in Birmingham. He was 4th at the World Indoor Championships this year as well. He's in good form. Teloa of Tonga, an 18-year-old, is up next. He has done 18 metres 30 at his best. Hasn't found 15 metres this season. Petros Michaelides of Cyprus up next. They've had a silver in the hammer with Cassides and a bronze in the 110 hurdles with Milan Trajkovic. Bernard Baptiste of Mauritius is in his first Commonwealth Games final. And the final athlete, Tajinder Singh of India, Asian record holder with 21 metres 77. He switched from cricket to shot put at his father's insistence. There's so many of these athletes from nations like India, some of the Caribbean nations that love a bit of cricket, do sometimes, if we're lucky, find their way into maybe javelin or maybe shot put. Samardeep Singh Gill getting started. 12 athletes will go for 3 rounds, and then we'll cut to the bottom 4 and take 8 through to the final 3 rounds.
Circle,
19 metres 56 for Gill. That's a decent start. Detagawa up next for Nauru. 10th in qualification. And, was 8th this year at the Oceania Championships. their season's best by a metre to make this final, 16 metres 84. Defegawa just making for his round 1 measurement. 16 metres 99, another season's best. It's a stadium here in Scotstoun suiting him. It takes us to Aidan Smith. 2089, his new lifetime best this season. He's been making really good progress. World University Games champion last year in Germany, and then African champion this spring. Almost running out of space in the shot put circle there. Down on top of the 19-metre line. He threw at 1986 in qualification, Smith. Yeah, look, he's so tall, it's almost that last step he takes across the circles, kind of shortened. Ryan Krauser has said he thinks he could throw, the world record holder, the American Ryan Krauser, said he thinks he could throw even further if they let him use the discus circle. That's larger than the shot put circle. I feel like Aidan Smith might feel similar. 19 metres, 4 centimetres at second place at the moment. And then up steps Tom Walsh. He just won his 4th world indoor title in Turin. And Walsh, he's still competing very regularly on the circuit. I feel like he has kind of one mode, circuit mode, and then champs mode, because he always finds a little bit more. And that was the case in Turin in March. Oh, that's a decent start from Tom Walsh. When you've thrown 22 metres, it's takes a lot to get Tom Walsh excited, I guess, or satisfied about his own performance. It's brilliant to get to compare the speed of Tom Walsh in the circle here to some of the other athletes. What he's achieved in his career is simply phenomenal. 21 metres and 3 centimetres for Tom Walsh. He's found the 21-metre line already. We know that Eric Wetchy, very capable of 22 metres on his day. (22 metres 10) is African record from last year. Not with the first throw. Eric Wetchy threw that 22 metres. So the Prefontaine Diamond League last year and had a record number of men over 22 metres. It's considered the best men's shot put competition ever. And Ekwechi qualified 4th for this final, throwing 20 metres yesterday. It's 19 metres 60, good enough for second at the moment. He's just 4 centimetres ahead of Gill of India. With 2 Kiwis on the podium in Birmingham, Tom Walsh in gold, Jacko Gill in silver. Gill, unfortunately, not here in Glasgow this year. See whether Nick Palmer can step up. Over 19 metres with his first throw. 21.19 is a new lifetime best set in Stuttgart back in May. (1942) for Palmer. That's 4th at the moment, just sandwiching himself between Gill of India and Smith of South Africa.
It is indeed time for the track action to begin. The men's 200-metre semi-finals coming up now. 3 semi-finals. The first 2 in each race go through by right. And there is the lineup for this first semi-final. Britain's Arnell Hughes, the silver medalist 4 years ago, goes in lane 5. Let's start on the outside. Justice Orotile of Botswana, the youngest in the race, just 20 years old, the man in white there in lane 8. 20.58 in his heat yesterday. He won that. Aidan Murphy of Australia, second in the Australian Champs in 19.88. That is his personal best. That was back in April. In lane 6, it's Udorade Onwuzurike, sixth in the Commonwealth Games in 22. Zarnell Hughes, the silver medalist on that day, man who lives and trains in Kingston, Jamaica, but belongs to Shaftesbury Bonnet Harriers, North London club. James Dadsey of Ghana goes in lane 4. Good lane draw for him. 20.3 this year. He's a 1979 performer at his best. Chris Taylor goes for Jamaica in 3. Sixth in the Olympic Games in Tokyo back in 1991. Curon Griffith of Barbados goes in lane 2. Semi-finalist in the 100 here. Wanye Bell of the British Virgin Islands goes on the inside. World Junior Championship 100 metre performer back in 2022. Was a semi-finalist at the NCAA Championship a few weeks back in Eugene, Oregon, in the USA. On the Nigerian, Onwuzurike, 20.18 this year. Hughes inside him. Zarnell Hughes goes in lane 5. And Hughes is the British record holder with 19.73. That was 3 years ago now. Very consistent, Zarnell Hughes. Nice conditions in the arena. Still, of course, a breeze. Should be behind them down the home straight. Now, let's have a look at those reaction times. Can't actually see that anybody broke the rules there. Set off early. Looking at their reaction times, I think maybe that was a faulty start. The camera focusing on Orotile there on the outside. Have a look at it again. You spot anything there, Danny?
It does look like Orotile, doesn't it? Just gets the jump on them and on the gun. Very, very fractionally, but we'll wait to see what the officials come back with.
Well, the readout doesn't indicate that he full started, so I don't think he did. He might have got a great start, but that's might be a shame for him if he did get a superb start. He was the quickest away, although the reaction time only tells half the story. Yeah, thought so. Green card, just a faulty start. Nobody having the finger pointed at them. So for the second time of asking then, they have to settle into their blocks very shortly for this first semi-final of 3 in the men's 200 metres. They ran their heats yesterday morning, many of them competing in the 100s on Tuesday evening. They've had 24 hours indeed, more like 30 hours plus to prepare for this. Bell of the British Virgin Islands goes in 1. Griffith of Barbados in 2, Taylor of Jamaica 3, James Dadsey of Ghana in 4, Zarnell Hughes of England in 5, the silver medalist 4 years ago, and Onwuzurike of Nigeria in 6, Murphy in 7, Orotile on the outside in 8. This time they get away. Really good running there in lane 4 from James Dadsey. A little slow to get into his running. Zarnell Hughes there in the red and white of England has got some work to do here. Also really great from Chris Taylor in lane 3 there for Jamaica. Zarnell Hughes to really pour it on here. He's going to get run right out of this one. Remember, it's only the first 2 are going through by right. And that is it. First 2 plus 2 non-automatic qualifiers from the 3 semis. And that winning time, 20.20. And I do wonder if fresh legs are counting for a lot here in Scotland today. Well, it's been given to Chris Taylor, 20.20 from lane 3. He started wonderfully. He ran 20.36 for second in his heat yesterday. He's just run 20.20. The win plus 3.5 behind them. It's way over the limit. The other qualifier Onwuzurike of Nigeria. Great run from him, 20.22, really tight at the line. And then Orotile on the outside, the youngster, third with 20.47, and James Dadsey of Ghana, the other man in the non-automatic qualifying positions at the moment with 20.52 in 4th.
Christopher Taylor coming out of lane 3 gets an absolutely blistering start and runs a beautiful bend as he transitions into the home straight. Onwuzurike out there in lane 6. just positions himself beautifully as he comes into the home straight. But Zarnell Hughes was found wanting then. He was just going backwards in the home straight. He just didn't seem to get into the race, did he, Tim? From the moment the gun went, he just couldn't get on the tail of Onwuzurike.
No, he got a poor start. Christopher Taylor would have been in his field of vision very quickly because the Jamaican just inside him to his left got away so quickly. Dadzie was quick too. And yeah, very Zarnell Hughes, like 6th place there, 20.67. He's run almost a second quicker than that. He's run about 8 meters quicker than that, albeit 3 years ago. Well, there's the fellas in the hot seats. Oratile and Dadzie for Botswana and Ghana, respectively. And a confirmation of Chris Taylor's win there with a strong win behind him, 20.22, just ahead of Onwuzurike from Nigeria.
Scott Lincoln stepping up for round 1 and then shot put. He's the bronze medalist last time out in Birmingham. Big move last year, left his base in York to go to Australia in the quest of consistency and more medals. He's just the shot bounced up towards 21 metres here. But where did it land? Just short, but not too far short of 21 metres. The lead is with Tom Walsh, 21 metres and 3 centimetres, which Walsh himself, 2-time champion, will know he's got to improve on if he wants to get his 3rd consecutive gold. Lincoln, 20 metres 70. That's enough for 2nd place at the moment for the Englishman. Takes us to the 2nd Indian in the field, Tejindapal Singh Tor. The Indian #1 Asian record holder. Could be looking at our 3rd man over 20 metres here in Tor. I love the way these guys rotate so fast, and particularly when it gets faster with every rotation and Tor, building that momentum from the back of the circle.
Well, we're 200 metres semi down, 2 to come. Tor there, 20.06. That's not a bad opener at all. He's got a bit of improvement to do yet if he wants to stay amongst the medals, I fancy.
2nd semi-final, the men's 200. You can see the athletes in the outer 4 lanes. They were all given a bye here. Well, that's not... I think one of the athletes, because we've had a late replacement with Jackson Clark, so that graphic not totally right. But Caleb Law of Australia goes here in lane 8. He got a bye thanks to a brilliant 2021 that he ran over at the start of the season. But Jackson Clark of Guyana, he would have thought he missed out on this by 100th, but he's replaced Israel Okun, the Nigerian athlete, not starting here. Muthinkulo of South Africa will go in 6th, new lifetime best of 2011 the other day. Prince Selepe of Botswana in 5, silver at the African Championships, and then 20.01 at the Doha Diamond League. It's Javon Powell of Jamaica, regular in their 4x4 squad. Joseph Amoa of Ghana will go in lane 3, 9.92 this year. He looked very good winning his heat yesterday. Nganga Gora from Gabon goes in lane 2, African finalist this year. And the final athlete in lane 1, Animesh Kujor of India, their national record holder, 20.32. He won his heat, the Indian did yesterday, in a season's best. So 5 out of the 8 of the athletes here did run yesterday. Got a feel for the track, and then we've got fresh legs with the likes of Caleb Law, Muthinkulu and Selepe. They settle into their blocks. Reminder, it's first 2 across the line automatically. Chris Taylor and Onwuzurike running very well in the previous race, down to 20.2 seconds with a strong following wind. The very first time here in the 2nd semi-final. Lots of talented athletes. the one's fastest on paper on the outside here, but it's the Jamaican Javon Powell that's moving well in the middle of the field. Joseph Amoah going with him. Amoah looked very good winning his heat yesterday. He's going to come under pressure here in the last 50 metres. The Guyanan holding strong just to the line. Being credited with 20.24 and a 2.0 following win. That would equal his season's best. And it just looked a little bit a bit casual in the last 10 metres from Joseph Amoah. It was similar yesterday, wasn't it? And they ran a very good 180 and then decided that was probably going to be enough, but Javon Powell didn't give up till the end with only 2 spots available for the final automatically. And the Jamaican was chasing as well. He had to run every inch of the track he had available to him.
Yeah, the Ghana athlete Joseph Amoah, as you rightly said, Hannah, he ran a magnificent bend and he was just easing down into the end. But just coming through really, really strong was Powell and Salipe. They were driving all the way to the finish. He just shut down a little bit too early for me. That was a little bit too relaxed because they come off the bend. Amoah just comes into the home straight from lane 3, just ahead of the rest of the field. And at this point, he just starts to step off the gas a little bit. And you can see Salipe and Powell just coming through to his right-hand side, our left as we look at him.
Well, it was a furious dip to the line from Javon Powell, opposed to Joseph Amoah's slightly chilled. I mean, he's working hard. I don't think he shut it down, but he just didn't dip. And that's a big part of sprinting.
He just cruised through, didn't he?
And I'll tell you what, I can see on the computer system here that Joseph Amoah, the Ghanaian here on the right-hand side of the screen, has been given the win, but by 2 1/1000ths. That will give him a great lane draw when we look towards the final. But it was almost a different story. This has been the fastest race so far in terms of the depth. We saw Prince Salepe and Muthan Kula replace the fastest athletes from the previous heat. They are the 2 time qualifiers at the moment on 20:31 and 20:39. But look at that. I love that from Javon Powell. You've got to look out for him when we go to the final. He's a big part of the Jamaican 4x4 squad. And I think that strength over the longest of the sprints showing at the end of the 200.
He'll be happy he just got away with that one.
Confirmed result of semi-final 2. Joseph Amoah by 2 1/1000ths gets the win from Javon Powell. They're the automatic qualifiers. 1 semi-final left to go.
So, Chukwuebuka and Okwechi steps into the circle. Then round 2, the Nigerian silver medalist back in 2018, 4th 4 years ago in this shot put final. That's a nice second heave. He opened with 19 meters 60. He's capable of so much more. He is a 22-meter thrower. Indeed, he's been in great form around 21.5 meters in his last half dozen or so shot put competition. So he knows something big is in there. He really is in the competitive groove, so to speak. 5th in the World Championships last year, and that's a nice second heave from Okwechi. 20 meters 48, puts him up into 3rd place. So semi-final 3 then. Emmanuel Aseme, the winner of the 100 meters 2 nights ago in 9.83. He goes in lane 1. And right on the outside, well, the silver medalist in that 100 meters, the Australian, Lachlan Kennedy, 9.85. He ran for an Australian record. He was 2nd in the world indoors last year, the Australian champion at 100 this year. He will start fast. Can he hold them off? In lane 7 there, inside him, Dumbile of South Africa, 8th in the World Championships last year. Aaron Brown goes in 6th for Canada, semi-finalist last year, Canadian champion. There's Mustafa Bokpin from Ghana, 4th in the NCAA's 200. That's not to be sniffed at. Rashawn Clark of Jamaica goes in lane 4. 3rd in the Jamaican Championships. Jaleel Kroll of British Virgin Islands won his heat yesterday in 20.53, very close to his season's best. Zablon Kwam of Kenya, the Kenyan champion this year, 20.42 to win his heat yesterday. And Emmanuel Aseme goes on the inside for Cameroon. Well, He was second in the 200 heat yesterday in 20.73. That was yesterday morning, when I think he was entitled to feel a little bit tired and maybe a little bit stiff and sore after the 100 late the previous evening. It was far from ideal having to race before midday yesterday, having won the 100. He was 5th at the World Indoors back in Torun in March. So the gold and silver medalists in the 100 2 nights ago, bookending this field. Essemi of Cameroon, the champion in 1. Kennedy, the silver medalist in the 100, goes on the outside in lane 8.
Set.
Really tight bend for Essemi to try and negotiate their topper picture in the red in lane 1. He's gone off pretty well, though, has Lachlan Kennedy on the outside. Also going really well inside him is the South African Dambile. Dambile possibly leading into the straight now, but it's going to be really tight. Watch Essemi on the inside there, but look at the way they're pulling away now. Dambile and the Canadian inside him. Brown taking 1 and 2 there. 19.82, and the win just over the legal limit. 2.3. Dambile. Oh, what a shame. What a shame that it was just over that legal limit. Dear, oh dear. It was very, very quick indeed. That second semi-final, 20.24. Well, in the second semi-final, we'll have to look at the non-automatic qualifier positions. Dambile 1982, Brown 1990, Kennedy and Essemi. Well, Essemi doesn't go through. He misses out by 1/100th of a second. Kennedy, 2012, will go through, the quickest of the non-automatic qualifiers, along with Prince Selepe of Botswana, who was 3rd in the second semi-final. 2031 he ran. So Essemi unable to go for the double.
Dembele was up on Lachlan Kennedy as they come out of the stagger. But just look on the inside, the Canadian, Aaron Brown, the 34-year-old, just powering through and following Dembele all the way through. Unfortunately, we lost Roshan Clark as well during that race. He pulled up. But Dembele looked superior there, didn't he? Just so relaxed as he comes into the home straight.
Yeah, the South Africans in really good form. And when you think they are Southern Hemisphere athletes, like so many of the others, the Aussies and the Kiwis, they've had their own Southern Hemisphere season back in what is obviously the Northern Hemisphere winter, but they are peaking brilliantly, so many of the South Africans and the Australians for these championships. There it is, 19.82 and 9.90, just over the legal limit, the wind at plus 2.3. Lachlan Kennedy goes through with that 20.12. He recovering a little bit better, perhaps, than Essemi, although he was in lane 8, which is a big advantage with those gentle sweeping bends. Essemi, quite the opposite in lane 1 in that 3rd semi-final.
Real shot there, seeing Emmanuel Essemi exit. It was so brilliant in that 100 metres. It's a real shame that he wasn't able to hold that form into the 200, but I think potentially the damage was done yesterday when he was so far down in the qualification round 1 that he was given such a tough lane there, lane 1. We're going to see the women's triple jump up next. Small but select field, and we're going to meet them one by one. This is Shante Foreman of Jamaica, NCAA triple jump champion this year, and then she was 2nd in the long jump. It sounds simple to combine the long jump and the triple jump, but it's actually not as simple as it sounds. They are 2 pretty different events. Usually going horizontally into a sandpit, but it's hard to switch between the 2. Thea Lafond, the Paris Olympic champion, the world indoor champion in 2024 as well. Looking for her first Commonwealth Games title. Desley Owusu of Australia will jump 3rd. She's this year's Oceania champion. Lifetime best in July of 1386. Akeelia Smith of Jamaica had 2 top 8s in Paris. She was 8th in the long jump and then 7th in the triple jump. Mandashani Hirath of Sri Lanka will jump 5th. She jumped a national record in March of 13 metres 10. And the final athlete jumping at 6th is Georgina Ford-Wells of England. She gained experience at the World Indoor Championships this year, and she's back on the international stage after winning the national title, indoors and outdoors this year actually, Ford-Wells. Lovely to see the triple jumpers up so close to the spectators. anyone on the backstroke there is going to get a front row seat to a really complex event we have here in athletics. A hop, step and a jump into the sandpit. Generate as much speed as you can, but in a way that you can control it through those phases and carry yourself into that pit.
Goes off the runway, the clock halfway down is running.
Come on, let's go!
Rhythmic clapping. Go. Clap. Clap.
Shante Foreman getting ready to start this women's triple jump final. All 6 athletes will get to go the 6 rounds. Just short of 14 metres, I think, for Shante Foreman here. The games record you can see superimposed on the sandpit, 14 metres 94 for another Jamaican, Shanika Ricketts, who won this title in 2022.
Halfway through round 3 of the men's shot for the final. In circle now, Chukwuka and Kwashi of Nigeria.
Nice placement on the board from Foreman.
Very good. We still can get more guys. You know the first one.
Long discussion with the coach there for Shante Foreman, 13.96 with a 1.3 win. There might be a little bit more sheltered over there. That 1.3 is a lot less than we're getting down the home straight, but it gets the competition of this relatively small field underway. Thea Lafond next for Dominica.
There goes the cone. Here comes the
Olympic champion in Paris 2024. World silver medalist last year. She's been around, been a great servant in Dominica's colours. 14.79 in the last competition in Monaco 3 weeks ago. That looked nice. That looked better. Remember, Foreman 13.96. That looks around 14.50, something like that. She has jumped 15.25 this year. That is her lifetime best. And that 15.25 actually makes the 10th longest jumper in history. Lafond, she is the world #1, producing that performance in Zagreb back at the end of June. And Lafond giving away 14 centimetres on the board. That's quite a bit. But what distance is she given? Still waiting. Didn't see the wind speed on that one. But Dominican does start here as strong favourite, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, 14.52. Wow. Excellent opener.
Into round 2 in the men's shot put with Scott Lincoln of England. So around about halfway through the throwing order here. He's in second at the moment at 20 metres and 70. So a good start for Lincoln. Oh, that could be better. Tom Walsh has got the lead at 21 metres and 3 centimetres. Scott Lincoln is troubling the 21 metre line here. You can see the tape bouncing up underneath his shot put. Steely focus from Lincoln. Number of throws this man's done between 21 metres and 21 metres 30 is super impressive. Okay, just short of 21 metres, 20 metres 99. He's within 4 centimetres of the lead.
Enokwechi then, well, we saw his second round throw. That was a big one, 20.48, and that looks better. He's moving nicely, moving through the gears, you could almost say. He opened with 19.60. Well, when you remember that he's a 22-metre plus thrower, he knew there was a lot more in the tank. 20.48 in round 2, and that one is out there threatening the 21-metre line. He's not happy yet. Born in Queens, New York, was Chukwuka. Enokwechi, 20.82. Just consolidates third place there. Doesn't impact Scott Lincoln's 20.99 for second.
So we'll leave the men's shot put there just at the conclusion, or getting to the concluding end of round 3. And go back to the track for the first of our para races here this evening, the women's 100-metre T47.
This is the at the 100 metres for athletes with an upper limb impairment. So this will be 2 of our 100 metres we have this evening. First out on the track is the Canadian athlete Chloe Dunbar. She's improved so much this year, just 17 years old. She could fight for a medal. From Nigeria, Unimi Uwak, a 29-year-old. She had a personal best of 12.58, but the season best only 12.76. The New Zealand athlete Anna Grimaldi goes in lane 3. She's the oceanic record holder and the 200-metre Paralympic champion. The young 15-year-old from Australia, Lexi Brown, goes in lane 4. The Canadian record holder, Sharona Haas from Canada, goes in lane 6. 4th in the Paralympic Games 2024. In lane 7, Clementine Uidea from Rwanda. She's part of the Rwandan Development Para-Athletics Programme. And last from Kenya, Nima Obonyo, the 24-year-old. Personal best, 12.98.
Gotta love it when they throw in a surprise athlete in the field that we didn't know about. Lane 5 is Wikrama Singha of Sri Lanka. I think we weren't expecting here, but she's been given a good lane there in the middle. 12.88. So these women getting settled in for a straight final in the T47 category. Dunbar of Canada in 1, Uwak of Nigeria in 2, Grimaldi, perhaps a pre-event favourite for New Zealand, in 3. The 15-year-old Brown of Australia will go in lane 4. Wikrama Singha of Sri Lanka will go in lane 5. Haas of Canada in 6. Owodeye of Rwanda in 7. And Obonyo of Kenya in lane 8. And the way out of the blocks, no issues here. Watch out for Anna Grimaldi. She could be very strong in the second half of the race, but it's a good run at the moment for the Canadian. Haas at the moment trying to streak away for this. The Canadian teammate on the inside. A 1-2 for Canada. A following wind of 1.7. But what a run from Shariona Haas. 4th at the Paralympics, and she is the Canadian record holder at 12.42, and that run there, 12.23, has obliterated her own Canadian record and lowered what is set a new Games record, because this is the first running of this event here. Shariona Haas looked perfect. Chloe Dunbar, isolated in lane 1, did very well, and Anna Grimaldi, Danny, the Kiwi athlete, the pre-event favourite, just looking a little bit shell-shocked by what the Canadians have done here.
Yeah, I think Haas got such a fantastic start, and if you're going to deliver your best performance of your life, do it in the final. There we see Chloe Dunbar, great performance from the young 17-year-old. We thought she had a chance to get in amongst the medals, but a silver medal was probably more than she was expecting today. Anna Grimaldi, she looks a little bit distraught there, doesn't she? She would have come into this as the favourite, but you have to deliver. You can't just be the favourite on paper. And Haas had a fantastic race. She got away from the gun in lane 6.
See the athletes coming out of the blocks. It's definitely Shariona Haas from the word go, exploding out of the blocks, and Chloe Dunbar, the 2 Canadians, well drilled. It's great to see them get the opportunity to compete at their national championships. I think that does the athletes a world of good, being able to compete as regularly as possible and in high quality events, and it's paid off here with a 1-2 for Canada. And Grimaldi in the end was in a bit of a battle with Wikrama Singha, the Sri Lankan athlete, and the Kiwi athlete held her composure as she watched first and second run away down the track and stayed focused to get her position on the podium.
She just didn't look comfortable, did she, Grimaldi, coming down the straight? And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have Haas, who just looked composed, full of running. Her technique was flawless.
The Athletics Canada para program are doing really well. They're picking up medals all over the place, and it seems to me from the para athletes, they're the kind of team that are matching or outperforming their rankings. Sheriana Haas takes gold in the women's T47 100 metres, 12:23, a new Canadian record ahead of teammate Chloe Dunbar in 12:33, and Anna Grimaldi of New Zealand in third, 12:47. A lifetime best for Dunbar as well, 17-year-old. Grimaldi is smiling. I think sometimes you have to appreciate the fact you've got yourself on a podium, even if it wasn't the colour you were hoping for, but Grimaldi perhaps better over 200 as well. That is the event that she's the Paralympic champion in, but she's added Commonwealth bronze to her collection.
Akeelia Smith then, the opening effort for the Jamaican in this triple jump final. Now, she's a 14.50 jumper this year. Nice, fabulous final phase into the sand there, crikey. Long way off the lead at the moment, but nonetheless, Smith doesn't look absolutely delighted with that. Plus 2.2, the wind just over the legal limit. Yeah, made up a lot of ground with that final phase. Oh dear, over 21 centimetres. Not even on the board there, Akeelia Smith. She'll be frustrated when she sees that. Her coach will in particular. Well, 7th in the last Commonwealth game, and she's guaranteed better than that at this Commonwealth game. It's only 6th at the minute. Smith, 13 metres 93. That's a solid opener. She can go, well, 3/4 of a metre better than that.
Here goes Lafont.
Thea Lafond up next, event leader, 14 metres 52. She's getting up towards her own mark there, her own leading mark. Bronze in the Gold Coast in 2018, silver in Birmingham in 2022. It's got a symmetry about that, or a progression about that. Surely Lafond, the Olympic champion, the world leader this season, poised for gold. Well, she can find herself another 25 centimetres or so on the board. That won't do her cause any harm. Shake of the head from Lafond. 14 metres 23, following wind of a 2.5 down there.
Well, we've had the 3 semis on the men's 200. Very shortly it'll be time for the semi-finals of the women's 200 metres. 3 of them again. Plenty of familiar faces there, and again the qualifying is the same as the men's. First 2 go through by right, with 2 non-automatic qualifiers to tomorrow's finals. Strange, isn't it? In July the 30th, we're using an indoor warm-up facility, but the athletes want to keep as warm as possible. And across Glasgow right now, well, the temperature not really sprinter friendly. It's 14 degrees. Although the sunshine, when you're out in it and out of the wind, is much, much warmer than that. But it is almost completely blue skies above Scotstoun at the moment. You can see some cloud in the distance there above the main stand, but it's actually a glorious, if somewhat breezy, evening here in Scotland.
All right, so we're going to check in with the decathlon. They've got the high jump coming up first this evening. Damien Warner of Canada is 80 points ahead of Lyndon Victor at the moment. And this high jump here does suit the Canadian. You see the other athletes, 12 of them coming in to have a go at the high jump. We're going to have 2 pools so that the bars can progress at a smart increments and start at a good starting height for the different athletes. Jamie Schluter here of Nigeria, he had a very good shot put. That sees him in 4th place overall. He'll go that high group, Group A. And, here's the second group. Callum Newby in there for Scotland. He's having a good day so far. And Lyndon Victor is in second place at the moment, but his high jump isn't his best event. That's why he's over there in Group B. Sammy Ball having a really good day. He's in third place at the moment. Only 13 points ahead of Shlita, though, the Nigerian there just behind him. Coming in at 197, it's proven a good decision for Ball. It's a lifetime best. 203 is season's best, 197. So I think that's pretty brave from the Englishman. Oh, there we go. He wasn't coming in at this height. My apologies, we're catching up. That makes more sense. I think coming in at your season's best in a heptathlon be a little bit risky.
Well, the T12 100 metres coming up, and Danny, if this one is half as competitive as that women's race a few minutes ago, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, should be a really, really exciting race. It's the T11 and T12 100 metres for athletes with a visual impairment. T11 is low visual acuity and little or no light perception, and T12 is a visual field less than 5 degrees. So the T11 athletes will run with a guide and blacked out goggles, and the T11s have the option to run with guides or not. Sorry, the T11s will run with the guide and the T12s will run without the guide. Here we can see the lineup. From Canada, George Kwaku, Jacko Smith from South Africa, Zach Shaw and Masala Makato will be going in this final.
Yes, and a following wind will be very much assisting them. It's been strong throughout the day. George Kwaku of Canada is led out there with his guide, Oluwasegun. Jacob Smith comes out, the 38-year-old South African. Coach Jerry Postumus. Zach Shaw comes out now. Winner of the London 100 metres just a couple of weeks ago in 10.97. Bronze medalist in the Paralympics back in 2024. Zach Shaw of England, the 30-year-old. Masala Makato of South Africa is the fourth athlete out. Second in his heat in 11.05. That was windy, otherwise it would have been a personal best. His lifetime best 11.13. Discovered the South African after his teachers at school noticed his speed. How common a story is that? World record 10.82 by Gavelas of Greece. I don't know if we'll see that threatened here. There's a good chance this will be wind assisted. Zach Shaw, well, born in Grimsby, runs for the Cleethorpes Club, and his coach Leon Baptiste was an international sprinter himself.
On your marks.
A lot of support for him, the only home nation athlete in this race. He goes in 5. There's Makatu of South Africa. He's in 7, nearest the camera. On the far side, George Kwaku. His guide, Oluwasegun Makinde, for the Canadian there. The coordination for these two makes it perhaps a little bit harder than for the other athletes. The guide athletes, Makinde has to get his arm action and his form in rhythm with Kwaku. Away they go. Really good start there from Kwaku over to the extreme right. The South African Smith moving well, and so is Zach Shaw of England. Zach Shaw steaming away with this one. It might be second for South African on the near side. Very tight for second, but Zach Shaw takes that one. 10.89. And the win plus 2.1. Oh, how frustrating. It's just over the legal limit. 10.89, otherwise would have been a season's best for Zach Shaw. He has run 10.81. That was last year. Can't believe it. And brilliant running in lane 7 from Makatu. It was very tight, 11.04 to 11.06. He beat Kaku, the Canadian, into 3rd place. He takes the bronze with Jacko Schmidt a little way back, the other South African in this one in 4th place, 11.24 for him.
Well, I didn't see what he had written on the back of his number. He had gold. This would mean a lot to Zach Shaw. He's been chasing that global gold medal. He's been a silver medalist, a bronze medalist on a number of occasions, but that gold has eluded him on the global stage. Coming into this, he was the favourite to win it, but of course you have to deliver it on the big stage when the pressure's on. And George Quokka and his guy got a fantastic start down in lane 1. They would have put that pressure on Shaw very, very early in the race. But Shaw is really coming into his own this year. He's really racing. He's been racing very, very well and consistently throughout the year. I'm looking to see what he's written on the back of his number. Oh, gold for you, Mum.
Oh, no, that brings a lump to my throat.
He did a good job of highlighting Leon Baptiste as Zach Shaw's coach. Baptiste, of course, the Commonwealth Games champion in 2010 over 200 metres in Delhi, and I'm sure Leon Baptiste has taken even more pride in Zach Shaw getting this gold medal today. As you say, Danny, it's been coming for a few years, hasn't it? He's been in and around the medals, but to get a gold will be very, very sweet for Zach Shaw.
It would be. And you just see that Quokka and his guide, or back to Shaw now, he's got great knee lift, hasn't he? Great technique as he comes down the home straight. I wouldn't like to guess what just come out of his mouth, but I think it meant he's quite happy with his performance.
Well, his CV is dotted with silvers and bronzes. He took the silver 4 years ago. Back in 2018, he was 6th. He's matured nicely as Zach Shaw. And at 30 now, all of 8 years later, he's the real deal, the finished product. And consistently quick. 10.91 in his heat. 10.89 there, just over the legal limit. So frustrating, but a legal 10.97 in London just recently. Another 10.92 in Birmingham before that. He's in a rich groove of form.
And that would have meant a lot to Zach. He lost his mum to cancer, so that would have meant so much to him.
There it is, Zach Shaw winning the T12. 100 metres, just over the limit, the legal limit, the win. 10.89 for him. Masalo Makatu, a silver South Africa. And the Canadian, George Kwaku, taking the bronze medal, along with his guide runner, Oluwasegun Makinde. Great work from them.
Great para sprinting on the home straight, but we've still got the men's shot put and the women's triple jump going on. This is Akelia
Group
Smith.
A decathlon high jump, the bar at 188 will be attempted next by
Round 2
Emma
here.
Campbell of Jersey, only his 2nd jump of the competition.
Oh, it looks a bit better from Akelia Smith. She's done a 13.93 in the first round. Puts her in 3rd place behind her teammate Shante Foreman. Just 3 centimetres behind Foreman, so the 2 Jamaicans just troubling the 14-metre line. Space to spare as well for Smith on the long jump, on the runway. I'm just going to say, I think she's going on the long jump later this week as well. There we go, 14 metres exactly for Akelia Smith. A 7 centimetre improvement that puts her ahead of her teammate Shante Foreman. Singer Georgina Ford-Wells looking like she might be getting some medical assistance. We haven't seen much of the English athlete yet. Let's hope everything's all right there.
Théa Lafond then goes again in this triple jump. Understandably out in front, 14 metres 52, her opener. Then 14.23. This round 3 for Lafond. Oh, that's nice, that's nice. Beautiful rhythm to that one, and each of the 3 phases was massive. Yeah, she knows she hit the nail on the head with that one. So difficult to get it right, so many elements to be put in the right order, almost like a jigsaw, but she got that one very right. Akelia Smith of Jamaica in the silver medal position with 14 metres exactly, but that was massive. That was out towards 14.5 metres, maybe beyond 14.52 and 14.23 her effort so far. Good on the board this time. Just under 11 centimetres given away there, but she's all smiles because she knows she's hit one very right. The mark to come up, 14 metres 59. Well, the title in Birmingham was won in 14.94 by Shanika Ricketts of Jamaica. Lafond might yet stretch out to that sort of distance. Remember, she is the world number one with 15.25.
The bar at 1 metre 97 here in Group A of the men's decathlon high jump. Jamie Schluter, first time clearance at 194, but this is he is going to get over great to see from Schluter. He's going to start talking about what points that would mean. We've got to wait till he's cleared it. 776 points for Schluter, each height here in the high jump. Just giving these athletes another 28, 29 points or so, so very important. Warner at the moment, 80 points ahead of Lyndon Victor in the gold medal position. The Canadian, this is one of his super strengths, this event. And that's a third and final clearance for Damien Warner. And you don't want to be giving away these heights lightly if you can possibly avoid it.
It's almost like then he was holding his hands out, instructing the bar, but it was off the bed and it was okay. In fact, you don't even have to be off the bed these days, do you? Here is Ball, Sammy Ball. Church, in fact, excuse me. Two Englishmen here, easily confused. Lewis Church, that's the third time clearance at 197 for him as well. That's 3 athletes clear at 197 at the third time of asking.
Oh, that would be a nervous moment for those men. Great to see them all progress up to 2 metres. Enekwechi now in a circle.
Yeah!
Again up towards 21 metres. Tom Walsh has the lead with 21 metres and 3 centimetres. Enekwechi chasing hard here. I like that celebration from the coach. Enekwechi, 21 metres 7. The Nigerian has gone into the lead by 4 centimetres. We're round 5 here. Tom Walsh has got a couple of throws to respond, but the 2-time champion going for a hat-trick here this evening has just been nudged down. Ooh. That's a foul for Tom Walsh. Probably couldn't do that again if he tried, could he? Hit the microphone on the side of the throwing sector here. You can see the official nimbly getting out of the way. Bullseye.
Does he get a bonus for that?
Does for me, but fortunately that doesn't convert to any medals or
a giant teddy or a blow-up Finny or something. Yeah, mascot here.
So that's 3 consecutive fouls for Tom Walsh.
That's really frustrating, and he's normally so consistent, Tommy. He's led since the first round, has just been overtaken by a small margin by Enekwechi. Well, going into the 6th and final round, that's how it sits. Enekwechi has eased past him with 21.07. Tommy Walsh on 21.03. Scott Lincoln on 20.99. That from the second round for the Englishman. He lies in 3rd. He's got 1 life left, Tommy Walsh, to regain the lead and successfully defend his title. He is a massive championship performer, isn't he? When you think he took that World Indoor Gold back in March, World title back in 2017. He's been doing it for 10 years now.
He's going to need all of that composure here, Tom Walsh. I think he did know kind of deep down 21 metres and 3 centimetres was vulnerable. They are good friends, all these shot putters. They spend a lot of time together. I know we say that a lot about the field events, but it really is true. They do kind of say we couldn't sit out here for a couple of hours every time we compete and not talk to each other. That would just be very strange. And at the moment, Walsh and Enekwechi not exchanging any pleasantries. Michaelidis of Cyprus down in 8th place at the moment. Mentioned a couple of medals already for Cyprus. Not sure they've got too many more hopes coming here in the track and field programme. Michaelidis on 19 metres 23 so far. And a foul here. I think he's opted not to have that measured. Yeah, there we go. So he won't improve up from 8th place.
Still been a solid competition from the Cypriot. Now, next to go. Gill, Samadip Gill, Samadip Singh Gill in 7th place, 20.03 for the Indians so far. Sixth and final round, opportunity here to improve, and he is capable of it. He's a 20.40 putter. If he could find that, it would move him up to 4th place. Well, that's just over 20 metres, but I'm not sure it's an improvement. He needs to find 20.27. No, it's a no throw for Gill, so the pressure is on for these fellas lower down in this final. They've made the top 8, they've made the cut, but that's another no throw after Michaelidis of Cyprus and now Gill.
Nick Palmer in for New Zealand. 6th place at the moment, 20 metres 27. That's the same distance as Tajinder Singh Tour, the athlete will throw next. So on count back, Palmer is in 6th when a good throw here could see him 5th or higher. Let's have a look. Okay, that could be over 20 metres here. Let me see, the second best throw from Tour is at 20 metres 06. So if Nick Palmer can beat 20 metres and 6 centimetres, that might give him 5th place, or perhaps he's improved on his overall best mark of 20 metres 27. Let's have a look. Oh, 20 metres and 2 centimetres. It's not enough to nudge ahead of the Indian. Tajinder Singh Tour will go next, and he's going to be in 5th at least, if not a little better.
Yes, Tajinder Singh Tour next to go, 20.27 in round 3, actually through 20.26 in round 5 as well. He is going to finish in at least 5th place, and that no, that looks around the high 19s. If he was to catch Aidan Smith of South Africa, he needed 20.31, and he would have moved if he'd thrown exactly that distance, the same as the South African. He would have moved into 4th, but the opportunity gone. No change in positions just yet from these fellas, from Michaelidis in 8th, Gill in 7th, Palmer in 6th, Tour in 5th. He closes their Tour with 19 metres 79. 3 of his efforts beyond 20 metres.
Aidan Smith of South Africa, the last man that could change the medalists here in the men's shot put. Have to throw a lifetime best if he wanted to. Bronze with Scott Lincoln at the moment, 20 metres 99. Smith on 20 metres 31. There's Scott Lincoln. Half watching, trying to pretend he's not. Aidan Smith here. That's not going to be enough to put him up into the bronze medal position. Don't think it'll improve on his 20 metres 31 as well. It looks around about the 20 metre mark. This is Commonwealth Games debut after winning the World University Games last year. That's a really good kind of mark for our young up-and-coming athletes. That championship is very competitive, and he's backed that up well here with a 4th at the Commonwealth Games.
Well, it does confirm Scott Lincoln as at least the bronze medalist, 20 metres 99 he threw in the second round. He only needs to find 4 centimetres to catch Tommy Walsh. That would be a turn up. This is consolation indeed for that 4th place of the world indoors in Turun back in March. Lincoln so consistent in England's colours. Oh my word, that's big. That might be almost identical to his 20.99 in round 2, but he needed 21.03 to catch Walsh, and I'm not sure he's done that. It obviously shifted the tape across the sector. It was big, but is it big enough? No, 20.91 from Scott Lincoln. It concludes a fabulous series with all his 5 valid marks, well over 20 metres. 20.99 in round 2, good enough for the bronze for him.
So Tom Walsh is throwing next. They've reshuffled the throwing order. 21 metres, 0-3 in the first round. He struggled since then though. 3 consecutive fouls. And he's chasing 21 metres and 7 centimetres. I'm not sure that's going to be it. You could kind of tell from the noise that came out of Tom Walsh. It's going to be another medal for the Kiwi athlete. Short of the 21-metre mark, and he'll be disappointed here. I think Tom Walsh, he was looking to become the only man ever to win 3 titles, never mind 3 consecutive titles in the men's shot put at the Commonwealths.
You know what was really frustrating? I think that no throw in round 5 that hit that microphone out to the left of the sector, and it was a no throw because it went out the throwing arc. I think it might have been big enough, but you have to get it right in every respect. And then Enokwechi then is confirmed as the Commonwealth champion. The Nigerian will take gold for Nigeria, irrespective of what happens there. That doesn't matter. That was immaterial, that final effort. That is superb and fitting reward for a brilliant season from Enokwechi. The 33-year-old has thrown 21.74 this year. He's been so near yet so far at global occasions. 6th in the Olympics in 24, 5th in the Worlds last year. But he has a silver medal from 2018. He has 4th from 4 years ago in Birmingham. Today, he has a gold. Absolutely brilliant. He also works as a throws coach for West Lafayette High School in the USA. And I know his 3 siblings and everybody that supports this man, born in Queens, New York, and at Purdue University, where he studied in the USA. They'll be absolutely delighted for the big fella in the green of Nigeria. Brilliant.
Subdued celebrations here for Tom Walsh. I think he's taking a moment to gather himself, but a brilliant gold for Nigeria. Their second of the athletics and para-athletics programme here. Nwachukwu winning gold in the women's discus F42, F44 category last night. It was very emotional. Gold for her. She did that with a games record. This is the first gold medal for Nigeria in the men's shot put. They had silver last night as well with Jessica Oji. So Nigerian throwing going really well here at the Commonwealth Games.
And Scott Lincoln adds a Commonwealth bronze to his collection. He's a man who has proudly been the British #1 and of course England's #1 for many years now. And at last, that major championship medal for Lincoln with quite a few near misses. That 4th at the World Indoors back in March. The most recent of them. Took bronze in 2022 and he repeats that feat here tonight. There it is, Enokwechi, 21.07, the gold for Nigeria. Tommy Walsh, the silver for New Zealand. And Scott Lincoln, the bronze for England.
Time to head back to the track for 3 women's 200-metre semi-finals. Same as the men, top 2 across the line, and then another 2 athletes on times for the final that will take place tomorrow night. See Success Edouan and Tori Lewis, the bronze medalist from the 100 metres, getting a bye through to the semi-final stage. The rest of the athletes we saw in action yesterday morning. Millicent Ndoro of Kenya has drawn lane 8. She's a national record holder, 22.91, set that this year. She made the semi-final twice at the Commonwealth Games before. Tori Lewis on a Commonwealth Games debut broke her national record twice in the 100 metres and ended up with bronze in 10.99. Let's see what form she brings here over 200. Edouan of England is this year's British champion. She's also European under-23 champion last year in this 200-metre event. Ilana Reid of Jamaica goes in 5. She helped the Jamaican team to a final position of 5th in the 4x100 at the Olympics and then went on to win the World Junior title. Frédérique Chesson of Canada goes in 4. She was very close to her season's best of 23.14 in the heat. Beyoncé de Freitas of the British Virgin Islands goes in 3. She only missed out on the 100-metre final by a couple of positions. She won her heat, bounced back well from that disappointment yesterday. Asameni Simwaka of Malawi will go in lane 2. She was 4th in Birmingham, over 400 metres, and she holds a national record for Malawi, 22.91. Obi Jennifer Chukwuka of Nigeria. She won her heat in a PB of 23.26 yesterday, but a tough lane draw for the 21-year-old. Deep breath from Success Adawan, having a good season, the English woman progressing, improving, and this is the next test in her career. First of 3 semi-finals in the women's 200 metres. Bronze medalist from the 100 metres, Tori Lewis of Australia, goes in lane 7. Good start from Tori Lewis. You'd expect that with a 100-metre form and the fresh legs, the day off yesterday. Tori Lewis already made up ground on Enduro. Jamaican going well, Alana Reid as well, and Success Adawan has come off the bend brilliant here. The English woman high-stepping into the last 50 metres. These 3 so closely matched. Jamaica, England, Australia going for 2 spots. 3 athletes, one's going to miss out there. I think it could be Success Adawan in the middle. The English woman just tied up slightly in the last 10 metres. She was coming under such pressure from Reid, the world junior champion, on her inside, and Tori Lewis, the bronze medalist from the 100 metres here on the outside. We should let the officials absolutely figure out that photo finish, but a great run from all of those athletes. I was particularly impressed there by Success Adawan's transition off the bend. It was a good bend, but it was transferring that to the straight is part of the skill. I think Adawan did that the best, and perhaps even surprised herself by being in the lead coming into the home straight.
Yeah, Success Adawan ran a fantastic bend, as you said, Hannah, and then as she hit that home straight, it had a commanding lead. You expected Tori Lewis to get that fast start. She's a 100-metre specialist, and she's going to get away from the blocks very, very quickly with that 3rd place just a couple of days ago. But what I was more impressed with was how Tori Lewis managed to come back in the closing stages of the 200 metres. She sort of managed to claw Adawan back in again. But that was a very, very close race. Lewis gets at a fantastic start. She's up on the athlete in lane 8 straight away. And it's just coming out of the bend now that Adawan starts to sort of get a grip of the race. It's this transition from the bend into the straight that not all athletes manage to execute. Really, they were brilliant bend runners or great straight runners, but to do both. But then I think Adawan just starts to tie up a little bit. She's got Reid on her inside, Lewis on her outside, and just that pressure from both sides.
You can see Adawan is describing it so well, Danny. It's just the knee lift's gone as well, hasn't it? And this is the biggest stage she's competed on, and you can see Lewis and Reid have been credited with the first 2 spots, 22.64 for the pair of them. That's automatic qualification through to the final. And Success Adawan on 22.65 is going to go take a seat, a hot seat. And nice celebration from Tori Lewis. Job done. A really strong following wind here in Glasgow. I might have expected a tiny bit faster, but here we are, Adawan and Chesson will watch the next 2 semi-finals and hope that their times stand the test. Lewis and Reid, first and second, both credited with 22.64. Adawan, 22.65, and Chesson, 22.98.
Thea Lafont then, round 4. In this triple jump final, she dominates at the moment. Leads with 14.60. This just a couple of minutes ago. She's had a fabulous series, 14.52, 14.23, 14.59 in round 3. And then in that 4th round effort, she squeezes out another centimetre to extend her lead. Akeelia Smith in second, hasn't been able to improve on her 14 metres exactly, that second round effort. Shante Foreman of Jamaica giving them second and third at the moment with 13.96, her opener. She stays in third place. Good on the board there. Thea Lafont. The wind, well, it's eased off quite significantly, plus 0.7 behind that one. Her big effort in the second round, 14.23. But that one, 14 metres 60. She's over half a metre in the lead. It's every one of those 4 valid marks would have been good enough for gold, or is good enough for first place at the moment.
Second of 3 semi-finals coming up. So competitive, so closely matched in that first one. Let's have a look how this second unfolds. Remember, first 2 across the line, automatically into tomorrow's final.
Well, let's take a look as this shot takes us round the bend. Drone shot to the 8 athletes lined up there for this second of 3 semi-finals, the women's 200 metres. There's Ashanti Veronica Pereira of Singapore. 29-year-old's best is 23 seconds exactly this year. Semi-finalist in the 100 a couple of days ago. 22.57, her lifetime best. Ashanti Moore goes in lane 7 for Jamaica. Her personal best set in Budapest last year. Semi-finalist at the World Championships last year too. Adeja Hodge, well, she starts as favourite here. Great lane draw too for the British Virgin Islands athlete. She's world number 2 this year. Won the NCAA title. Her coach Gerald Furry was a world-class sprinter for Zambia. He's their record holder. Monique Hanlon goes in 5 for Australia, 3rd in the Australian Championships. Marie-Eloise Leclerc goes in 4th, Canada. Many relay spots for her over the years, 2nd in the Canadian 200 and her personal best. There's Oluyinka Olajide of Nigeria. She goes in 3, the 21-year-old. 23.62 in her heat. There's Scotland's Alison Bell. She goes in lane 2. 23.38 in her heat, and that's a season's best for her. She has run 23.01, and Winfrida Mackenzie of Tanzania goes in lane 1. Best of 23.88 this year, and that is her lifetime best. Indeed, it was in her heat here, a national record for Mackenzie, but she's still in that inside lane. So Hanlon of Australia in 5. 22.60 this season is her lifetime best. She's only 22. The second heat of the women's, second semi, I should say, of the women's 200 metres. The first 2 go through by right. So away they go there. I thought they might be recalled with that ripple of applause going around the stadium. Really good running from a Hodge there in lane 6 in the blue of the British Virgin Islands. As you'd expect, she leads by quite a margin. 2 or 3 metres coming into the straight now, and she's storming away with this one. Good running from the Jamaican Ashanti Moore there in 7, left to picture. She's working hard, but look at Adeja Hodge easing back on the throttle, 30 metres out. 22.01, and it's legal. Plus 1.7. What could she have done if she had run hard to the line? She'd have gone a long way under 22 seconds. Her season's best, her lifetime best, 21.68. It tops the world rankings, or it puts her second in the world rankings, excuse me, behind Julian Alfred. I think she could probably have threatened her lifetime best if she'd run hard there through the last 50 or so. Well, a game's record there for Adeja Hodge with a legal win that was very, very helpful. Plus 1.7, just legal, Danny, but she blew them away over the first 50.
She did. She blew them away from the second she left the blocks. She ran a really, really strong bend, and then into the home straight, that transition. Very, very powerful. And as you said, she's cruising across the line. That is a marker to put down for the rest of the athletes. But for me, Ashanti Moore as well, bringing in for the silver medal position out in lane 7, because she was under pressure from Adeja Hodge within the first 20 metres of the race. So she did really, really well not to let that affect her performance.
Yes, absolutely right. Hodge and Moore, 1 and 2 there. Hodge winning it by more or less a second and a half, and that game's record, a clear indication of how historically significant that run is from Deja Hodge, the sort of form she's in. She's only 22, she's a youngster, born in Tortola, in the British Virgin Islands. Her best times, her best years ahead of her. And Pereira and Hanlon in second and third, and Pereira does get a hot seat spot. So I think the third placer in that, the fourth placer in the first semi has gone.
Check back in with the men's high jump, and Damien Warner here. Took him 3 attempts to get over 197. This is his final attempt at 2 meters. He's done that this season, Warner. Going to be under such pressure from Lyndon Victor throughout this competition. Oh, Warner doesn't get 2 meters. He really needs every height if he wants to get the gold medal. Won this title in Glasgow, last here in Scotland in 2014. A decent effort here from Warner. No improvement means he's going to leave with 776 points. Lyndon Victor was jumping in the other pool. We're just going to combine the results. We'll probably wait for the conclusion of this women's 200 metres before we catch up totally with what that means with the decathlon. This is the third semi-final. What about Deja Hodge breaking the games record there in that previous semi-final. Mia Gross goes in lane 8 for Australia. She was second at the Oceania Championships over 400 and then won gold in the 200. Audrey Leduc goes in lane 7 for Canada. She's a national record holder, and she was really close to it when she won the national championships this year. She was 6th in the 100 a couple of days ago. Lavanya Williams of Jamaica goes in 6th. She was the fastest in round 1 with 22.91. Shaniqua Bascom of Trinidad and Tobago goes in 5. She had a bye through to this round, thanks to 22.68 clocking this season. Olivia Fotopoulou of Cyprus goes in 4. 22.65 a couple of years ago. She's been close to that this season. Elisa Smith of Guyana will go in 3. She had a bye as well, thanks to a 22.78 ran in May. Jorne Nyamsata of the Gambia goes in 2. She ran 23.74 to qualify for this semi-final. And Antonique Strawn, a lifetime best of 22.15 from 2023. She's a double world junior champion a few years ago, Strawn. 23.52, the best so far for her this season. There are the 2 hot seat athletes. Success Edouin of England, 22.65. And Veronica Shanti Pereira of Singapore, 22.81. That's the target if you're outside the top 2 here in this third semi-final. Athletes just been asked to stand up. There's a bit of crowd noise going on. It's mainly involved in the decathlon high jump. We've got athletes going for third and final attempts at certain heights, asking for support from the crowd. Green card for this semi-final. They'll be invited back into their blocks. Strawn of Bahamas is in 1. Nyamsata of the Gambia in 2. Smith of Guyana in 3. Fotopoulou of Cyprus in 4. Bascom of Trinidad and Tobago in 5. Williams of Jamaica in 6. Leduc of Canada in 7. And Gross of Australia in lane 8. And they're our way this time, despite a bit more crowd noise. This is the final semi-final for the women's 200 metres. Top 2 get a spot in the final. Canada, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago off the crest of the bend, almost together. What a run here from Bascom of Trinidad and Tobago. 50 metres to go. The head is starting to bob for Bascom, but she's going to pull clear of the field. 22.32. That's the second fastest time we've seen here across the semi-finals. And Deja Hodge, incredible scenes in that second semi-final, breaking the game's record with 22.01. And if that hadn't just happened, this would be really impressive from Shaniqua Bascom. It was a good measured race, and then had something there in the last 50 metres. But Erdogan and Pereira, I think from their body language, they think they've done enough here to make the final. Bascom with 22.31. She was quite a way ahead of everybody else. Feel quite spread out here in this third semi-final.
Shaniqua Bascom, she runs a really, really good bend. She's got Williams and Ledeck on her outside that she can track round the bend. But it's this, once again, it's this transition into the home straight, and she really starts to pull away. She does the damage from like 1 to 150, and then that last 50 metres, she's got that 5 metre lead ahead of Williams just on her outside. A really, really strong performance from Bascom there in lane 5. And he even got the sunglasses on. Doesn't even need the racing shades.
That was really impressive from Bascom, and I think we've seen a good example of that bend to straight conversion here. But semi-final 3 won by Bascom, 22.31. Lavanya Williams coming through for the second place in 22.71. And that means the 2 time qualifiers are Success Adawan and Veronica Shanti Pereira. That's the 8 women that will advance to the final. Adeja Hodge breaking the games record in the semi-final. Surely the favourite for gold.
Well, back to this triple jump now. It's been building nicely for one particular athlete, and that's Taylor Fon. Ford-Wells, Georgina Ford-Wells, opened with 13.70. She passed in the second round. I don't know if she's carrying a niggle or what. Then 12.97 in the third round. No jump in the fourth round, passed the fifth round. She's just fouled out in the sixth and final round. That foot rolling forward while it's still in contact with the ground and into the zone above the beyond the front edge of the board means it is a no jump for her. So 2 no jumps, 2 pass jumps, 2 valid efforts for Georgina Ford-Wells. 13.70 her opener. Wasn't able to improve on that, and she will be frustrated by that, I think. It promised so much. Ford-Wells, she's a 13.98 jumper. It was a really solid opening effort. 4 times the British champion. Twice in the triple jump outdoors and twice in the triple jump indoors, the 23-year-old. Next to go, Desley Owusu, already a season's best with 13.81 in the second round. She's in 4th place, the Australian. Doesn't need to find much. She's got 1 jump left. This final effort, if she can get out to 13.97, then she would catch Foreman, Shante Foreman of Jamaica, who's in 3rd at the moment. Oh, no, and she knew it immediately. That's a shame, but it does confirm the destination of the medals. We just don't know to which individuals as yet. I think we can be fairly certain that Taylor Fon will take the gold. She's way out in front still with just 1 jump left for each of the now confirmed medalists. Shante Foreman is in 3rd at the moment. She's about to jump. Akeelia Smith is in 2nd. And Taylor Fon has 14.60 from round 4 as her best effort.
Shante Foreman goes next. Just 4 centimetres off that silver medal position.
Shanker roaring himself on for this second attempt
14.24
at
this season.
218.
Did that at the NCAA Championships. And she took the gold medal. Just be trying to recapture that form, that collegiate form. It's so hard for these athletes. They put so much into that collegiate season. And when it goes really well and suddenly you've unlocked opportunities outside of that, find something, find some energy.
Which began at 8 minutes past 7, so we're now at 20 in. Shante Foreman of Jamaica on the runways. You know she's guaranteed a bronze medal here for
just to
Jamaica.
compose herself.
Here we go. Clap.
Starting round 6 as she did round 1,
everyone.
asking the crowd for support. No, that didn't go right for Shante Foreman. But it's still a medal for the Jamaican. And there's going to be 2 Jamaicans on the podium. Foreman is in the bronze medal position. That's
decided there's no change to that, but Akelia Smith in silver at the moment, her teammate. One last jump to try and elevate herself up to Thea Lafond, who's been untouchable here this evening. Shante Foreman will have a front row seat to the last couple of jumps here for the final.
Well, it's always nice, isn't it, to have your season come to a climax when there's still a few weeks yet to go. She'll be on the circuit as much as she can, competing and celebrating that bronze medal. Shante Foreman. Isn't that funny? The 5th, 4th and 3rd places in the final round, all stretching out, trying to find something extra, and each of them, one after the other. No jumping. But here comes Akelia Smith now. She's a 14.54 jumper at her best. She needed a lifetime best to catch Thea Lafond. That 14.54 was 3 years ago. This year she's been really close to it. She's been in good form. 14.50 this season. That 14.50 puts her 10th in the world ranking. She did that at the Oslo Diamond League a few weeks back now. Confirms at least the silver medalist. Oh, that's nice. That's not bad at all. Has she found a little bit more there? Hasn't threatened the lead. It does confirm Thea Lafond as Dominica's Commonwealth champion in the women's triple jump with 14.60 from round 4. She backed it up with a good series, 14.59 in round 3, 14.52 her opener. But Akelia Smith, well, giving away 18 centimetres on the board, proudly waving that Jamaican banner and wrapping herself in it, as you would. Jamaicans having a fabulous week. I've counted 3 golds so far for Jamaica, and it's going to be 1 now for Dominica.
First ever gold medal for Dominica at the Commonwealth Games. They've had 3 medals previously, 2 of them thanks to Thea Lafond in the last 2 editions of the Commonwealth Games. The other one actually did come in the triple jump as well, in the men's triple jump to Ranona.
So he bows out with 944 points and in
so dedicated to representing Dominica every opportunity she gets. And she's done them very proud here at the Commonwealth Games, converting a bronze in 2018, a silver in 2022 to a gold here in Glasgow.
So far with the final jump of the triple.
Each one of her marks here would have been enough for gold. 5 valid jumps. And the world lead this season with 15.25. Thea Lafond will give it everything here in the last jump. She's ever the professional on the circuit and at the championships. And Lafond for Dominica, I think, yeah, it has come up as a foul attempt pretty quickly. Just 1 foul out of the 6 attempts, pretty impressive. But it's gold for Thea Lafond and Dominica. And she gives us a sand angel to celebrate. Such a brilliant 2024 for Thea Lafond. And then in 2025, there were illnesses and injuries that just took the edge off her ever so slightly. She still performed well throughout the year and got a silver in the end in Tokyo. And she never takes any championship for granted. Triple jumpers, the female triple jumpers, will get the chance to go to the World Ultimate Championships. There's no men's triple jump there, but just a women's one. Thea Lafond, I'm sure, will refocus on the remainder of the Diamond League season and on that World Ultimate Championships after taking a brilliant gold. Dominica's first ever gold at the Commonwealth Games here in Glasgow. Lovely celebrations here. Shante Foreman and Akelia Smith.
Yeah, come on. In the house. Yeah.
100 metres hurdles final as well. All
Dominica flag
schedule.
shown proudly by Lafond here. She has taken that all over the world in the last few years. confirmed results of the women's triple jump, a historic first ever gold at the Commonwealth Games for Dominica, with Thea Lafond, 14 metres 60, Akeelia Smith, 14.04, Shante Foreman, 13.96. Jamaica taking the silver and the bronze.
Awesome job, awesome job. You get physio, right? What? You get physio?
Oh, no! Don't drop! Congratulations! Good job. Oh, sorry, my love.
Well, that's the medals in the women's triple jump all sewed up, and it's time for another live medal ceremony here in the stadium.
Our next medal ceremony this evening is for the women's 100 metres, the T45 to 47 for athletes with an upper limb impairment. Athletes has been led out by Anna Grimaldi from New Zealand. This was a fantastic women's 100 metre final, and the very reason why it's great to have para-athletics instrumental within the athletics program. Every athlete in this final run a lifetime best. Para-athletes don't always get to compete on the big stages, so when they do, this is the pinnacle of their season, for some of them the pinnacle of their career. So to have a final with every athlete running a lifetime best is something very, very special for para-athletics. The bronze medalist representing New Zealand is Anna Grimaldi. The silver medalist from Canada, Chloe Dunbar, the young 17-year-old Canadian sprinters. Season just gets better and better this year.
Gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion, representing Canada, Sheriona Haase.
The gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion from Canada, Sheriona Haase, making it a Canadian 1-2 in the women's T45-47 100 metres.
All smiles here on the women's podium for the 100 metres T45 to T47. Haase and Dunbar delighted to take gold and silver for Canada, and Grimaldi the bronze for New Zealand. It's the first edition of this event here at the Commonwealth Games, so Haas will forever be the first Commonwealth Games champion, and at the moment holds a very competitive Games record from that performance down in the 12:30s. So we have concluded 4 events here in the decathlon. I'm just hoping to bring you up to date with the standings before we head over to the next track action. It'll be the semi-finals for the men's 800 metres. And there's a women's discus competition just getting warmed up as well. Check in with Tejaswin Shankar. It's 1 clearance at 2 metres and 6 centimetres. The Indian actually did go in the open high jump. He no marked there, didn't make the final. This is very much kind of his best event within the decathlon. A good long jump, Shankar, and perhaps a little bit disappointing in the shot put. And he was certainly viewed this high jump as an opportunity to put himself back in medal contention. Oh, that's more like it from Shankar. Big, deep breath here from Shankar. He can go up towards 230, this guy. 944 points. That's a great clearance at 2:15. Lifetime best of 2:29, season's best of 2:26. There we go. There is a celebration. It's more of a relief, I think, for Shankar. He passed his remaining attempts at 2:12. I don't know if he's dealing with... Here we go. There's a bit of taping going on the knee. This guy is acting as though he's only got a fixed number of jumps in his body for me. There's passes going on. And, in the end, that was the best clearance. He did have a few attempts a little bit higher up. A couple at 2:18 passed and then another at 2:21. But Shankar wins the decathlon high jump ahead of Sammy Ball of England and Damien Warner. Lewis Church in 4th, Schluter in 5th, and then 2 in 6th. That was the top 6. And there's the standings after 4 events. Damien Warner still in the lead, but it's been reduced to Tejaswin Shankar is just 39 points behind him. We're going to see these men go over 400 metres before they get a well-earned rest this evening before coming back for another 5 events tomorrow.
Well, the women's discus final about to get underway. And while there were only 6 in that women's triple jump final, there are 8 in this one. There is the lineup. I'm just looking. Samantha Hall of Jamaica, 33 years old now, has thrown 66 metres this year, a lifetime best, the Jamaican. There is Nidhi Rani of India, 58 metres this year, that's her lifetime best. Obiageri Pamela Amechi of Nigeria, 61 metres she's thrown this event. She's a 64-metre thrower at her absolute best. Moni Nora Atim of Cameroon is 4th in the throwing order, just eased over 60 metres this year, very close to her lifetime best.
This is Tiara De Rosa of Bermuda, 51 metres 10, her personal best set this year. Seema Kalaramna of India will throw 6th, athlete in lifetime best format of 59.73 came this season. Farah Farouk of Pakistan holds their national record set that last year at 40 metres 36. Julia Tunks of Canada, full-time national champion. 1 shot put title and 3 discus titles. 63.58 this season. The Canadian, there's a mark out there for the Commonwealth Games record. That's Danny Stevens from 2018, 68 metres 23.
Amechi of Nigeria, who's throwing who's 3rd in the throwing order, is the bronze medalist from 4 years ago. Here goes Samantha Hall, who's thrown 66.39 this year, and that puts her up into 8th place on the world rankings this year. The world number 1, undisputed world number 1, Valerie Sion of the USA, 73 metres 10. Anything around 60-62 would be a great opener here for the Jamaican. Ah, how frustrating. That one slams into the netting to the right of the cage opening, the gate, so to speak. Reset necessary for her. Can't blame a wet circle on this occasion.
That's a shame for Samantha Hall. She's pretty frustrated. There were just 8 women in this discus final. They'll all get 6 rounds, so there's none of that jeopardy halfway. And Nidhi Rani of India up next. See that 58.82 in May, so not too long ago in Chennai. It's okay from Nidhi Rani. Just short of the 55-metre line. It's going to be our first valid throw of the competition. 53 metres, 19 gives the Indian an early lead. Amechi of Nigeria. I wonder if she thought Anikwechi take gold in the men's shot put, or whether, well, she might have done for the call room. They often have TV screens for the athletes and the officials down there in the warm-up area in the call rooms. And Amechi steps into the circle. 61.79 this year. Puts her third out of the entrance here. Samantha Hall, Jamaican that no marked in the first round. She's the favourite on paper, followed by Julia Tunks, the Canadian. And then this woman, third best in 2026 amongst the 8 athletes. Amechi spinning like a spinning top in the background there, absorbing all the force that she produced to fling the discus down the field. So Amechi looked like it might be quite similar to Nidhi Rani, maybe a little bit closer to the 55-metre mark. 53.68, that does give her a lead over Nidhi Rani.
Well, it is time for the 800 metres, and these fellas will be keen to get out there and impress in these semi-finals. Ben Patterson, the bronze medalist for England, goes in lane 4 in this first semi-final, but inside him in lane 3, a certain Kenyan, Wycliffe Kinyamal. He has been the Commonwealth champion on each of the last 2 occasions, in 2018 and in 2022. The first 3 go through by right with 2 non-automatic qualifiers. There's the Australian, Peter Boll. Boll goes in lane 7, the 32-year-old, very, very experienced racer, improved form, 142 performer. Roban goes in 6 for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Botswana and Hangura goes in lane 5, a semi-finalist at the World Championships last year. There's Ben Patterson. He's had his fair share of injuries, Patterson. Semi-finalist at the World Championships last year, the same at the World Indoors this year, but he does have that bronze from 4 years back. Wycliffe Kinyamal, twice Commonwealth champion, going for the hat-trick. He's the Kenyan champion this year, coming into good form. Justin Davies of Wales, a season's best at the London Diamond League 12 years ago, 145.9. And James Preston of New Zealand, 5 times the New Zealand champion. He's in lane 1. He's a 144.0 performer, Preston. He'll need that sort of form here if he's to progress. Alex Boswell, well, you didn't see it on the outside, the Englishman, coached by Steve Cram. He looked brilliant in his first round heat. So away they go then. Now, is anybody going to take it on through this first lap? I'll be surprised if it's super quick, the first 400 metres. Into the wind now, which is still blowing pretty healthily up the back straight. And it's Kinyamal in that sort of wine red strip there for Kenya. moves across to the outside, so he doesn't want to be on the inside, and it's the Kiwi, James Preston, who takes it up and actually gets his head down and goes for it, and is pretty quick through this first 300 metres. I think he thought, well, if I'm going to be at the front, I might as well give it a good go. He's testing them here, but actually not doing much more than being a pacemaker for them, although he's going so hard here, between 200 and 350 into this first lap, that he's building a big lead. It's going to be quite quick, this, as he comes through. It's unusual in these conditions.
Yeah, Preston's really taken this on, hasn't he? I think he's thinking, if I'm going to give myself a chance against these athletes, I've got to try and drag out a big enough lead and then just try and hang on into the closing stages of the race. But you can see the Kenyan, Kinyamal, is now starting to close the gap with Botterill following up behind him. And here comes Patterson as well. He's working hard to stay with it.
250 to go then. Kinyamal hits the front. The Kiwi is spent. He's acted as the perfect pacemaker. 78 at 600. It's surprisingly quick, this. The Brits in second and third. The English, I should say. Botterill in second. On his shoulder, Patterson, the reigning champion, into the home straight now. Peter Bol in the yellow of Australia coming wide round the outside, challenging for a place in the first three. It is only the first three who go through by right. Kinyamal streaking away. Great running from Bol over the last 100. And look at this run from Davies. Oh, the Englishman are third and fourth there, behind Kinyamal and Bol. Botterill just up dipping Patterson, but the winning time there, well, 1:44.9. That is pretty quick in these conditions. It really is. Special running, and it's all down to Preston, the New Zealander, who ended up in 8th and last place. Strange tactics from him in a field of this calibre, but he had a go. Kinyamal and Bol and Botterill go through by right. Ben Patterson, 1:45.42. And one of the reasons I don't like non-automatic qualifiers in these situations is because the guys in the second semi-final that'll come up in a few minutes' time now know what they've got to do. They've got information that was not available to these athletes in the first semi-final. I just don't understand how anybody can think that's fair.
Well, especially when you go to that second semi-final and you've got a front runner like Max Bergen. These athletes, everyone was saying they want Max Bergen in their heat. He loves to front run. Preston did a good job there for the other athletes. I think the Kiwi athlete got pretty chewed up yesterday in his round and perhaps just choosing to take matters into his own hands. Peter Bol nearly came unstuck with around about 200 metres to go. He was fighting for space. Patterson and Botterill had him boxed on the inside. The Australian had to wait to the home straight. And I was impressed by the turn of pace. But Kinyamal, the two-time champion already, going for a hat-trick, looked very, very good taking the win.
Didn't he? Yes.
Yeah, Kinyamal, all smiles here. Smiles and waves from Kinyamal, and Peter Bol relieved to come through for second place. And Patterson, the bronze medalist, was squeezed from Birmingham 2022. He was squeezed out of an automatic spot there, and he will be devastated, gutted that he sat there in a time qualifying position. 1:45.42 and 1:45.51. Patterson and Davis will have a nervous wait as we move towards that second semi-final. But all joy for Kinyamal, Bol and Botterill. Noor Atim coming in for the first attempt here in the discus. 60-metre performer at her best this season. Cameroonian athlete, All-African Games bronze medal in 2024, and then she was this year's African champion. National record holder as well for Cameroon. Ooh, that could be a nice throw here for Noor Atim. In the first round, we've had fouls from Samantha Hall, the #1 ranked athlete, coming in, and Seema of India. The rest of the athletes doing okay here. We've got a lead with Amechi of India at the moment. Calm nod here from the coaching staff. 55 metres 37, that's enough to put the Cameroonian in the lead. Just a few athletes left to throw here in round one.
Well, Tunks is eighth in the throwing order, 8th and last in the throwing order, the big Canadian. Only 20 years old. Coached by a father is Julia Tunks. First round for her. She's had to wait for all the others to take their opening throws, and that's not bad. That's about 58 meters, something like that for Julia Tunks. Went out in qualifying the world champs last year from London, Ontario. She's the daughter of Leija Koolman, who participated in the 2004 Olympics in the shot, and 3-time Olympian discus thrower Jason Tunks. Remember that name well. Played soccer as a goalkeeper. She's tall. I bet she was a pretty good goalkeeper too. 58-21 for Tunks, and that gives her the lead at the end of the first round.
So Samantha Hall will start round 2 as she did round 1. Well, let's hope she doesn't start in the same way. It was a foul in the first round. And she is ranked number 1 coming into this competition. Jamaican drifting off to the left-hand side of the circle, but it was effective. She's surpassed that new gold medal mark of Julia Tunks with her second throw up towards the 60-metre mark. That's going to be very relieving here for Hall. 59 metres 27. Nice work for the Jamaican. She overtakes the Canadian, goes up into the lead.
Well, the stadium's still bathed in glorious sunshine here. The second of just 2 semi-finals coming up now for the men. The first 3 go through by right, remember. We know the result of the first heat. Who's going to be the lucky 3 and maybe 5, because they all know what they've got to do to run quicker than that first race.
Abdullahi Hassan of Canada goes in lane 8, semi-finalist at the World Indoor Champs this year. Peyton Craig of Australia broke their national under-23 record running 1:44.01 this season. Navaski Anderson set the Jamaican record in the final of the World Championships last year. He was 1 place behind this man. Max Bergen was 6th in Tokyo. Kelvin Lotti of Kenya. Kelvin Lotti Kematai goes in lane 4. African champion this year. Luke Boys of Australia will go in 3, 1:44.16. He's the Oceanic champion. And Nicholas Kabenai of Kenya. It's their first appearance here at the Commonwealth Games. He has picked up African medals in the past. And Jared Mikhailov of Malta will go in lane 1. New national record set in April, 1:46.08.
On your marks.
And the way here in the second semi-final of the men's 800 metres. First 3 qualify automatically for the final. The next 2 are going to be looking at Ben Patterson's 1:45.42 and Justin Davis's 1:45.51. And Max Bergen does like to lead. He likes to stay out of trouble. Birmingham in 2022. He was left behind in Eugene with a blood clot in his leg. He had to watch the event go ahead from the sidelines. And it's Kabenai of Kenya that's got himself ahead of Bergen. Bergen looks uncomfortable in the pack, fighting for space. He cuts around the back of Navaski Anderson. But Kabenai must be moving some to have relegated Max Bergen down to 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, Anderson got the jump on Bergen, didn't he, in the start? But as expected, Bergen now takes it through to the bell.
50.35, so nice and healthy through the first 400 metres, and there goes Max Bergen. Confusing tactics, or unusual tactics for Max Bergen there in that first 200 metres, but he navigated himself back into his favourite position. Navaski Anderson of Jamaica has done very well to get himself into 2nd place. It's left the rest of the field scrambling for a good position. It's Loti in 3rd place of Kenya. He's just moving up onto the outside of Anderson. It's a good move from the Kenyan there. Even if he doesn't overtake the Jamaican, he's protecting his automatic qualifying spot. Hassan of Canada kicking hard with 1:50 to go. The Canadian trying to make an impact on this race. Anderson for Max Bergen. Max Bergen struggling here in the home straight. This is a surprise for the Englishman. Loti of Kenya coming back at the athletes. And what a run, what a race down here on the home straight. It's Kenya for both of the Australians who judged that last 200 brilliantly, Boys and Craig. And it leaves the World Championship finalists from last year, Max Bergen and Navaski Anderson, lying on the ground with their head in their hands. Luke Boys being credited with second place and Peyton Craig with third, and Kelvin Lottie really calm last 300 there from the Kenyan. He didn't panic when Max Bergen started kicking and when Navaski Anderson got in his slipstream. But the Australians, where on earth did they come from?
When Bergen hit the front, he made his decisive move. He really hit it, didn't he? And maybe he just took that a little bit too hard from that move, because he really started to pull away from the field and then paid the price for it in the closing stages. But when the Australians were coming through and Lottie were so strong in those closing stages, he just found himself struggling and just going backwards in that pack. So really unfortunate for Max Bergen.
A real shock there. Max Bergen came into this event ranked #1 in the Commonwealth. He has had some injury disruptions this season and he was left wanting here in the last 50. Lottie going well. Luke Boys, Peyton Craig just tangling here with Navaski Anderson. That's what kind of unsettled the Jamaican. As it stands at the moment, Anderson will go through as a time qualifier. 1:45.38. He's unseated Justin Davis there, but I don't think there was enough there for anyone to have a look at Peyton Craig's positioning. I think it was just, home straight fatigue from the athletes.
No, the 800 metres is a contact sport. We mustn't forget that. And pretty rough one too. You see the two fallers there, Anderson and Bergen, both going down in their desperation to get through. But it's the first fall from each heat, one non-automatic qualifier from each of those two semi-finals. And 3 Aussies go through to the final. Peter Bol, second in the first semi-final. Luke Boys and Peyton Craig. Wow, that is something. 3 out of 8 from the Commonwealth going through. And no Englishman in that 800 final. Max Bergen clearly far from fully fit.
There's a full 8 that go through to the final. 2 Kenyans, 3 Australians, a Jamaican and 2 Englishmen. That is going to be some race on a Saturday night.
Yeah, Patterson and Botterill are both going through from that first semi, of course. Back to this discus final. Julia Tunks, 58.21, the best in the first round. And Seema of India had a no throw in the first round herself. That's her second round effort. That's right out there beyond 55 meters, about 57 meters. Still the lead with Samantha Hall. That second round effort from the Jamaican, 59.27. 57.32 from Seema. Moves into third place. Well, it's coming at us thick and fast. The decathlon 400 meters up next. The 5th and final event of the first day for these fellas. There's the situation after 4 events. Damien Warner in the lead. And Warner overall has 3.541 over Shankar with that fabulous high jump, getting a bit of a boost. 39 points down, that's all, Shankar the Indian. Well, there is the lineup. The 6 athletes in this first heat.
The World Championship finalists in Tokyo last year, 5 national titles.
Church goes on the outside in this one. Sammy Ball in third place overall. There is Ball. He's had a fabulous first day, the Englishman. He's only 21. Best of 49.1 this year for 400 meters. 47.29, however, from last year is his lifetime best. I'll just give you an idea of how the times roll out in this. If you can run 47.99, effectively 48 seconds dead, you get 910 points. 49.50, 838 points. So every 10th of a second is worth 5 points. in the 400 metres. So 1 second worth 50 points. There is Lewis Church, coached by Dave Hull, a member of the Tunbridge Club, you might remember from earlier on in the day. Hasn't broken 50 this year, but he's at 49.6 performing at his best. Inside him, in going lane 6, is Sammy Ball, his teammate, who's in 3rd place at the moment, the 21-year-old. Max of the Cook Islands, Terua, in 12th place overall, Max Terua. Best of 51.2, he's never broken 51 seconds. There's the Nigerian, Jamie Schluter. Big fella, Schluter is in 4th place, he's going really well. 48.65 this year is his lifetime best, the German-born Nigerian. For Jersey, Evan Campbell goes in lane 3. He's in 8th overall. The 25-year-old hasn't broken 52 seconds this year, struggling for speed. And Max Atwell of New Zealand's in 10th overall. He's in lane 2. He has run 47.50, but almost 2 seconds slower than that this year. So, 49.5 is worth 838 points. Each second, remember, worth 50 points. This is worth dipping at the line for. It's worth working really hard down the home straight for.
Set.
Best placed of these men is Sammy Ball in 3rd place. Won the indoor heptathlon title for the UK back in the indoor season. And he's moving really well down the back straight. There is Ball, 49.1 this year. He's eased past Church, his teammate, who's in 6th overall. The Nigerian looking really strong, Schluter, in lane 4 in that green strip. Probably leads at the moment as this stagger unwinds. He's also going really well in lane 2, mind you, is Max Atwell for New Zealand. These 3 out in front by some margin at the moment. They're tired, remember, they've been out there all days, one discipline after another. A second day of it to come at them tomorrow. Into the straight now, and Sammy Ball just has a little lead, and he rallies there with about 80 to go. He digs even deeper and starts pulling away. Maybe the other's slowing. It looked like he's accelerated, but that's going to be a big win by about 5 or 6 metres, 48.85. That is the season's best by a massive chunk by Sammy Ball. He's a 47.2 runner at his absolute best, but he can be really pleased with that. Wow. He's given his all, and he wins by a comfortable margin there. Sammy Ball, 48.86, the season's best, as I said, 868 points, 40 points more than Schluter, the Nigerian behind him. That'll do his cause no harm at all. And in the total result, well, we'll wait and see how that makes things pan out.
Well, Sammy Ball came in with a 13-point buffer between him and Schluter, which equates to about a quarter of a second. You could see the Nigerian punching the ground across the line. He was really frustrated with himself. Perhaps thought he could stay on terms with the Englishman or nudge ahead of him, perhaps. But instead, Sammy Ball, with a dominant win, 48.86, has extended his lead over the Nigerian by 53 points.
So Tunks in this discus then, she has the lead from that first round. She's throwing really well. Had to sit out and watch all her 7 competitors throw, and then she banged out a big one at the end of the first round. Now it's the end of the second round, and that's over 60. Getting better and better here is Tunks. Really hits that one well. She's got long, long levers, and she uses them brilliantly. Yeah, she likes it. She knows it's good. Waiting for that mark to come up, but it's excellent. 60.67 for Tunks, homing in on her lifetime best of 63.58 earlier on this season.
Rani Nidhi up next for India, 53.19, 55.67 so far. She's in 3rd place. That's a really good throw from Nini Rani. She's in a bit of a battle here with her teammate Seema. two exchanging this bronze medal position back and forth. India have picked up a good few medals here at this championship, but I think when you extrapolate out to top 8 finishes, and some people like to do that, and the points you get for a top 8 finish, India, I think, will be even more competitive in there. They've been very close to even more medals than they've already got. And that was 57 metres, 10 centimetres for Nidhi Rani.
Well, there is Sami Ball, 48.86, 40 points gained on Schluter, the Nigerian coming in second place in that first heat of the decathlon 400 metres.
And there's a second heat featuring the athletes that are currently in first and second. Damien Warner and Tejaswin Shankar. Told you the Indians were doing well. And the gap on points, 39 points between Warner and Shankar at the moment, which equates to about 0.8 of a second. And the Canadian, on paper, the better 400-metre runner, so we expect him to just pull further ahead of Shankar. Lyndon Victor came into this evening session in second place, and he's just struggled at the moment. He's down in 4th. There he is, Lyndon Victor, won the title in 2018 and in 2022. There is Shankar. Good points for him in the long jump and the high jump. Edwin Tu of Kenya is in 11th place at the moment. He has gone underneath 48 seconds in his career, 48.18 though this year. Lyndon Victor, the defending champion from Grenada, he's in 4th place at the moment. He hasn't run a 400 this year. That lifetime best, 47.76, came in at 2024. Damien Warner is the leader at the moment. He won this title back in 2014. He'd love to regain it. That's why he's here. One of his main contenders, challengers in lane 4, Tejaswin Shankar. Lifetime best, 48.29. Joel McFarlane of Scotland will get a nice cheer from the crowd here in Glasgow. Lifetime best underneath the 48 seconds, 47.96. And Callum Newby, he's actually the new Scottish decathlon record holder. He broke the nation's record in April with 7,867 points. Come on, Scotland, from the crowd. Sure, as soon as the men settle into their blocks, it'll be a bit quieter here in Scotstoun. They can't resist it. 2 Scots in one race. What a treat. So Warner, an opportunity to extend his lead over to Tejaswin Shankar and the rest of the field.
Set.
And they're up into their running. Tejaswin Shankar had a heavily strapped knee during that high jump. I can't see the strapping here in the 400 metres. Damien Warner already up on Lyndon Victor to his outside. Warner gliding down the back straight here. He is a better runner than Lyndon Victor, we know that, but look at the response from Victor. He can't resist competing with the Canadian. The two of them side by side, gliding past Edwin Tu. And Damien Warner has a slight advantage here into the home straight. This is the final event of the first day of the decathlon. These guys will absolutely empty the tank, and look at Callum Newby over in lane 2. Newby is flying. He's been cheered on by the Scottish crowd. And look at the athletes he's leaving in his wake. Callum Newby striding for the line, 48.59. That is a new lifetime best for Callum Newby. And Damien Warner came totally unstuck in the last 40 metres though. The Canadian on paper should have been ahead of Shankar by 0.8 of a second, ahead of Victor by something similar. It should have been an opportunity for the Canadian to add even more points to his gold medal position, and instead he's given away points to Victor and to Shankar. That's a real surprise.
I can only assume that Warner is unfit for 400-metre running because he's a 46.5 second man. I mean, he's knocking on the door of international class. He's Damien Warner over 1 lap normally, but he's finished in 50.05 there. It's probably his slowest ever 400 in a decathlon. He was leading around the crown of the bend, and Lyndon Victor matched him all the way around that second bend, despite the stagger unwinding in the favour of the white-vested Canadian. But look at the run from Callum Newby down the home straight. 48.59, as you said, Hannah, dead right. A new lifetime best. Great running from Joel McFarlane too. Sheer guts holding on to second place there. 49.30 for him. And the Scottish crowd absolutely loved that. I bet you half of them think that was worth the entry money alone. 1 and 2 for them in that second 400 metres, the better 400 metre runners in that one. And Damien Warner's lead will have been knocked back quite substantially with that.
And how nice for Callum Newby. He opened up the decathlon with a win in the 100 metres this morning. He was in the slower heat, and he's closed the decathlon in the faster heat of the 400 metres with a win as well. So a day to remember for the Scottish decathlon record holder.
Well, I can tell you that Damien Warner, there's the result of that one. Let's go through that first, Hannah, excuse me.
Newby, 48.59, McFarlane, 49.30, and Lyndon Victor, season's best. Important points for the Grenadian in the overall battle.
And there it is, Damien Warner, just 14 points ahead of Shankar now. Shankar on that 400, 49.51, quicker than Damien Warner, who was streaking away from him down the back straight. It looked like Warner would take 2 or 3 seconds out of him, but he actually finished ahead of Warner. Sammy Ball in third place for England, maintaining his challenge. That's fantastic as well. And Jamie Schluter of Nigeria in fourth place, with Lyndon Victor, the defending champion, in fifth at the halfway stage.
It's now time for the medal ceremony for the men's 100 metres T11 and T12 category for athletes with a visual impairment. The bronze medalist representing Canada, George Kwaku. The guides also receiving a medal for their efforts out there today. There was a time when they didn't, and it was so unjust. These guides, they train with their athletes day in, day out, and you can see how much it means. The South African athlete, just 20 years old, Masala Makatu, silver medalist. The gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion, Zach Shaw, representing England. This medal meant so much to him. It's been a long time to get on top of the podium. An emotional moment for the Englishman, Zach Shaw. He struggled to get back to running after losing his mum, Yvette, and it took him a long time to get back out there. He held up the back of his number and it said, "This is gold for you, Mum." The bronze medalist, George Kouakou from Canada, and his guide, Masala Makutu from South Africa, the silver medalist, and Zach Shaw, the gold medalist, the Commonwealth champion.
So the women's 5,000 metres now, the event which, with technology affecting distance running and middle distance running so dramatically, is really more of a middle distance race these days. Beatrice Chebet is the champion from 2022. We are guaranteed a new champion tonight. The last 5 titles have been won by Kenyans in the women's 5,000 metres. They've shown an incredible dominance. 4 years ago, Eilish McColgan taking a superb silver for Scotland in Birmingham ahead of Busenye of Kenya, who took the bronze. She was able to split the Kenyans. But let's have a look at the field here tonight. It's a huge field. There's 21 of them out there. Rose Davies, the champion from the 10,000 metres. 3 nights ago on Monday evening, she stormed to gold in the 10,000 in 31:39. There is Caroline Nyaga, second in the Kenyan Championships. Eloise Walker of Scotland. Listen to that. 20th 4 years ago over 5,000 metres in Birmingham. Imani Zabayo of Rwanda is there. Hannah Nuttall, her father John, her late father John, took a bronze medal in 1994 over 5,000 metres at the Commonwealth Games. Lyndon Hall, watch her, she could be a danger. Great 1,500 metre run, the best at 3:56. Esther Chebet of Uganda is out there too, 4th in the 10,000 here on Monday night. And let's have a look at the second echelon. Thambisang Lekokoto of Lesotho. There on the outside, there is Fitzgerald, Inez Fitzgerald, European under-20 champion at 3,000 metres last year. Taylor Kavanagh of South Africa. Then Jess Hull, she has to be one of the favourites, but she did run a mile race this morning. Can you believe it? Was struggling early summer, but she's rounding into shape, the Olympic silver medalist. Laura Muir. Well, she was the champion over 1,500 metres 4 years ago, now coached by Steve Cram. Change of coaching has been a little bit disruptive, but she's coming back into good form. Gabby Debu-Stafford, 5th in the Olympic 1,500 metres in Tokyo. She'll be hoping it's on the slow side. She's only run 15:23 this year. Hamida Musa of Tanzania. The Isle of Man athlete Krista Kane is out there, 40 years old. Rebecca Chalanga of Uganda didn't finish the 10,000 at the World Championships last year. Megan Keith, another massive roar for her. Silver medalist at European cross country back in December. Megan Keith holds the Scottish national record at 3,000 at 8:28. Joy Cheptoyak of Uganda, silver medalist at the World Cross Country back in Florida in January. She might want to push it along. The Tanzanian Janoka, Cecilia Janoka, is there too, 7th in the African Championships this summer in a personal best, but only 15:55. And Parul Chowdhury, the Asian Games 5,000 champion a couple of years back, holds the national record for the Indians in the steeplechase with 9:12. She's strong. I wonder if she can be a factor here. So this massive field gets underway then. 12.5 laps of the track. The wind has eased a little bit from this morning when it was really strong, but it's still quite a breeze across this Scotstoun Stadium as the sun sets over to our left. And I rather think they will be running into the wind each time they head up the back straight, so there could be a slow meandering first half at least to this race. But is the unimaginable possible? Can Rose Davies make it a double after that astonishing 10,000 metres win 3 nights ago? She's run over a minute faster than her 10,000 metre winning time on Monday night.
Seema stepping in for her round 3 throw here in the discus final. 57 metres 32 so far. It's good enough to put her in the bronze medal position. Oh, great speed there towards the end of the release. It's going to improve, I think, on her 57.32. She's passed it on the graphic. Perhaps chasing in on Samantha Hall's 59.27. Not with this throw. The fact that the Indian athlete's getting better with every throw. .58 meters 65 for Seema. She improves on her own march, stays in third place. Gives herself a buffer over her teammate who's in fourth and edges herself towards the silver medal position.
Rebecca Mwangi leads them as they come down below us with 11 laps to run. The first 400 metres was 71 seconds. I wonder if there might be a little bit of teamwork going on here from the Kenyans. She was 10th in the 10,000 on Monday night, Mwangi. She's one of those Kenyans has been based in Japan for a number of years, completed a high school diploma there before joining the Daiso Women Ekiden team. Only 32.36 in the 10,000 on Monday night. And actually 4 days for athletes of this caliber, 3 to 4 days, is a reasonably good period in which to recover from 25 laps of racing. It's not like it was flat out in sweltering heat and super fast. But we shall see whether or not it's in the legs of Rose Davies here tonight, the Aussie. And they are having such an amazing games. But Jess Hull will be one of those, I guess, Hannah, who'll be hoping it just stays nice and steady this first half. She won't want it to be quick. And the Kenyans will be aware of that. If they've done their homework, they will know that Hull can be devastating if it's slow over the last 2 or 3 laps.
And just looking here, it's 100 metres left of the first kilometre, so I think it's going to be just outside 3 minutes for the first kilometre. 3 minutes gives you 15 minutes on the nose, so it's respectable here. You know, when you look back at the 10,000 at this point, they were going so slowly through the first couple of kilometres. And I think some of the athletes might regret the surging they had to cope with in that race. There you go, 3:03 through the first kilometre. Mwangi just leading the way. Gabriella Debus-Stafford in second, the Canadian. She could have gone in the mile if she wanted to. And the fact that she's only gone in the 5K makes me think that she's really prioritised her training and her build-up to suit the 5,000. She's very good in her career with 14:44. And the speed she brings from the 1,500 could be interesting.
Ines Fitzgerald of Scotland in 4th place. The crowd loving that. Jess Hull in 5th. The 2 Kenyans, Mwangi leading with Nyaga in 2nd place. Running wide down the outside there is Esther Chebet of Uganda. She's never broken 15 minutes, her lifetime best, only just outside 15 minutes, but she was 4th in the 10,000 here. She's very strong. She's run a quick half marathon, 66 minutes in Malaga earlier on this year. That means that she would probably be one of those who'd like to push it along, Chebet. There she is in about 8th place in the dark red shorts and the yellow top of Uganda. Still Mwangi leading. As they come through this time, they'll see 9 laps to go. Debus-Stafford is a 1,500 metre specialist as well. Jess Hull looks fantastic, doesn't she, in 6th place on that yellow of Australia. Right behind her is Rose Davies, her compatriot. I think that's Rose Davies, yeah, just giving one of the Ugandans a little shove there. Cheptoyak, I think, was leaning in on her a bit. You have to protect your territory. It's not in the nature of distance runners to create contact, but if somebody starts leaning in on you, if you're on the inside, somebody starts leaning in on you and trying to get into the space in front of you, and there isn't room, you have to give them a hefty shove to let them know you're there and you're protecting your space.
I mean, 5,000 metre running from kind of on the circuit, what many of these women will have experienced in their careers so far, can be so different to the championship environment. You might be in those fast-paced made races where everyone stays out of each other's way, and suddenly you've got everyone on top of each other. No one wants to give an inch. They're all fighting for their chance to make their country proud, and it's a different dynamic.
So a big pack at the moment, just hanging in there. Nobody has kicked on and pushed the pace at all just yet, but there are Kenyans in 1 and 2. Joy Cheptoyak of Uganda has moved up into 3rd. Still Megan Keith up there in the top half dozen or so. It's the Rwandan vest that's right up there now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're being reduced to single file with 8 laps to go. Kenya in 1 and 2, calling the shots at the moment. 72 seconds that lap. It's not quick. The opening lap was a 71. They've gone 73, actually 73 the opening lap. They've gone 73, 74, 76, 72. So it is picking up a little bit as we approach the middle of the race. Now at the top end of the straight here, they will go through 2,000. The first kilometre, remember, 3:03, might well be down to around 6 minutes, Hannah. Well,
Athletes heading through 2 kilometres. What's it going to be? 6:08. So a 3:03 followed by a 3:04. But I do think you're right there, Tim, to call out the different 400-metre splits. Catherine Nyaga has just started lifting in the last couple of laps quite significantly.
yeah, 3:03 and a 3:01, giving them 3:05 rather, giving them 6:08 clocking at 2K.
Samantha Hall, a foul, 59.27, and then another foul sees the Jamaican down in second place. Only Julia Tunks has hit 60 metres so far. That looks great from Samantha Hall, though. Is it going to be further than 60 metres, 67? Looks like it from the superimposed graphics. The Jamaicans the favourite coming into this, 66 metres, 39 this year. She like that, Samantha Hall. 60 metres, 95. She goes into the lead by just under 30 centimetres.
Well, 6.5 laps to go in this 5,000 metres, and the East Africans leading the rest of the field of merry dance at the moment. Though, as I say that, the Aussies have moved into 4th and 5th. Hull and Rose Davies, the 10,000 metres champion, with Fitzgerald, Innes Fitzgerald of Scotland, only 20 years old, but she's a massive talent. Her coach Gavin Pavey's done a wonderful job with her down in the West Country. Megan Keith is up in 6th place, behind one of the Indians. I think it's Chowdhury, who is a great steeplechaser, surely has the strength to cope with this. That's a 71-second lap, so they're keeping the pace reasonably healthy, even if it's not super fast. But now there's a bit of an acceleration, there's no doubt about that. Certainly Caroline Nyaga, second in the Kenyan Championships. She's a 14:30 athlete at her best, very much world class, is winding it up here, and they clearly, Hannah, are aware of the speed of the finishers like Hull and one or two of the others who have got 1,500 metre speciality.
Yeah, they're definitely not letting the pace slow. Caroline Nyaga, she's got good 1,500 metre pedigree herself, but she's made a kind of semi-move to the roads, really, Nyaga. She's very good over 10,000 metres on the roads. I was surprised to see her in the 5K instead of the 10K, but Nyaga certainly won't want to be on the receiving end of the sprint finish you would have seen from Rose Davies in that 10,000 and Jess Hull in all those 1,500 metres. Great to see a move here from Amani Zabayo of Rwanda. Her teammate fantastically in the 10,000 metres. Leon Koru picked up Rwanda's first ever Commonwealth Games with a bronze in the longest race here in Glasgow.
So they're going to come through 3,000 metres here. 5 laps to go rather, as they go through there in 9:06. Well, you can work it out for yourself. That's way outside 3 minutes per kilometre. They're on about 15:10 tempo, but the opening 2 kilometres was 6:08. They've gone through 3K now in 9:06.9. So that 3rd kilometre, well, it was about a 2:58, 2:59, 2:58.5, something like that 3rd kilometre.
Nyaga looks totally comfortable leading. A nervous look from Joy Cheptoyak up at the screen, maybe trying to figure out who stayed with her. Esther Chebet, her teammate, is right there. And Jess Hull running the shortest line, as is Rose Davies. They've pushed the Rwandan athlete off the rail, not quite giving Amani Zabayo any space to get onto the racing line. And Megan Keith just being joined by Hannah Nuttall, and there's a big move as well. The athletes all just trying to vie for position. The South African just nudging herself ahead of the Englishwoman. It's all starting to get going here. It will be a mile to go.
They come through this time, and it'll be 4 laps to run. Nyaga leading them a merry dance. Cheptoyak back in 3rd. Now Megan Keith moving up onto the shoulder of the leader and goes past her there with a mile to run. This is clearly a plan she will have discussed with her coach, Ross Cairns. Born in Inverness in Scotland, you've got to be tough to train in the climate up there. And this is a really gutsy run from Megan Keith. 9th here in the 10,000 on Monday night. She's had a great year, including 67 for a half marathon in her debut in New York. That was back in the middle of May. And she's using that strength here. She's running a really smart race. 25th in the World Cross Country back in January, Megan Keith. And she's now separated this 6th from the rest of them. It looks like Hannah Nuttall just struggling there in the red and white of England, back in 7th place, leading that trio, trying to get back to them. Just can't quite get them at the moment. But Megan Keith running with amazing guts here and testing the best of them. The two Aussies still tucked in there, and Jess Hull still looking ominously comfortable in 4th.
Caroline Nyaga just swinging past Esther Chebet. These women, it's down to 5. They've responded to this move from Megan Keith calmly and smoothly. A 66 for Megan Keith. That was a massive increase in pace. What do they go from? 71, 72s down to a 66. That's ferocious here for Megan Keith. I think she'd been disappointed with her showing in the 10,000 and wanted to come out in this 5,000 and be a participant in the race, play a bigger part, and she's really doing it here.
Lapping athletes now, Megan Keith in control. Davies of Australia in 2nd place, the champion from the 10,000 metres. She must be oozing confidence. 2:52, that 4th kilometre. It's the quickest of the race by miles. The 3rd kilometre was about a 2:59, a 2:52. That is vicious, and it's gradually whittling them down. We're down to 5. Rose Davies, the Australian who was champion on Monday night in the 10,000 in 2nd, Hull in 3rd. The rest of them struggling in the wake of this assault from Megan Keith. Chebet, Esther Chebet of Uganda in 4th. Nyaga, the leader for the first half of the race, back in 5th. They come through with 2 laps to run, and Megan Keith is throwing the kitchen sink at this field. A 66 followed by a 69. Let's hope she hasn't tired herself out with that really vicious lap after they went through 4 laps to go. She's got to hang on in there now. 700 metres to run.
It's a long, long, brave kick for home for Megan Keith, to kick with a mile to go. Perhaps it's the only tactic you can have when you've got a 350, 1,500 metre woman in here. Jess Hull is looking fine. Rose Davies is looking fine. Nyaga is trying everything here, the Kenyan woman, to stay in 4th place. Esther Chebet is just about hanging on to 5th. And there's a charge on from Hannah Nuttall of England as she sees 600 metres to go. Hannah Nuttall, I don't know, I'm not sure she'll be able to get back to these 5, but she's having a go.
This is almost McColgan-esque from Megan Keith. 500 metres to run as they come into the straight this time. They'll hear the bell. Megan Keith gradually whittling it down. She's getting it down to 4 because Esther Chebet of Uganda is struggling there in 5th place. Nyaga, the best of the East Africans, as they come through the bell for Kenya in 4th place, and she's struggling, and the Aussies are still there. She cannot shake off the 2 yellow vests of Rose Davies and Jess Hull. Jess Hull, remember, with a mile race in her legs from this morning. But Megan Keith may have done enough to get a medal, because Nyaga in 4th and that red of Kenya with 300 to run is about 8 metres back. Ugandan in 5th place. Esther Chebet looks beaten as well. But Megan Keith keeping the Aussies at bay here, or are they just biding their time? Jess Hull looking ominous there as they go through 200 metres to run. They kick away past Megan Keith, who's got to hang on now. She's got to try and go with the Aussies. Stay ahead of the charging Ugandan in 4th place, Esther Chebet. Has Rose Davies got the audacity here, the 10,000 metre champion, to beat Jess Hull? I'm not sure she has. It's side by side. It's like the Aussie Championships, and Rose Davies giving it everything here. And the 10,000 metre champion is going to do the double. Unbelievable from Rose Davies there. Hull takes the silver, and Megan Keith comes through for an absolutely brilliant Scottish bronze. The whole stadium punching the air on their feet. And what a run from Hannah Nuttall to come through for 5th place behind Esther Chebet, the Ugandan, in 4th place there. Wow! That final kilometre, 2:45 after a 2:52. And it was all down to Megan Keith, who ripped the field apart with a mile to run. It was one of the gutsiest runs I've seen by such a young athlete in all my years. She's 24. She has a massive future. She's already had an incredible year there as Megan Keith. And she takes the bronze in the 5,000. But the Australian rolling wave of fantastic performances continues here with 1 and 2 in the 5,000 metres. And that has to be the story of the week in track and field. Rose Davies, double gold at 10,000 and then 5,000.
I think I always love seeing, whether it's in 5,000 or in 1,500, the strength kick versus the speed kick. We know Jessica Hull is faster. She's run so quick over 800 and 1,500 metres, but that all goes out the window when you step up to 5,000, and just sometimes the strength overcomes the speed, and Rose Davies goes for another flag here. She's the first Australian ever to do the 5,000, 10,000 double at the Commonwealth Games. And Jess Hull had a real go, and I think Hull had every right in that last 300 to think this is fine. At some point, I will get the better of Rose Davies, but the determination of Davies down the home straight was absolutely phenomenal. And just a word on Megan Keith, she was so disappointed with her 10,000 earlier on in the week. She was down in 9th place in what on paper is her better event. And to come away with a bronze here today, fantastic from Keith. And Jessica Hull will go again in that mile final on Saturday. There's Megan Keith, just a word on the fact her granddad is 100 years old, and he's here in the stadium watching her, and he sort of quipped, I wanted to stay alive to see my granddaughter run at the Commonwealth Games, and she's certainly done him proud today.
Well, Jess Hull, second in the mile heat this morning. That might have just made that small difference down the home straight. That was at 12:15, just 9 hours ago. She ran a really strong mile, but the winning time, 14:44 for Rose Davies, the season's best for her, and what a job her coach Scott Westacott, a marathon runner. He was 4th in the Commonwealth Games back in 2006 when it was in Melbourne, had a 2:11 time. Look at this sight. That'll be on the front page of the Aussie papers tomorrow, surely. Rose Davies finding the power and the speed endurance to hold Jess Hull at bay. Hull, a 3:50 1,500 metre runner, just having the edge taken off her form there, her finishing speed, by that mile race this morning, but you can't criticise Rose Davies for that or take down her performance, because it was quite spectacular. The closing speed from Rose Davies there, superb, and 68 the 11th lap, 62 the 12th lap, and Rose Davies accelerating through that final 200 metres. For double gold, Megan Keith running herself in such an intelligent race, ran herself into that bronze medal, because if she had tried it any other way, she knows she doesn't have the finishing speed to match athletes like those two, but she has the strength, and didn't it show?
Bravery certainly rewarded for Megan Keith. It makes her only the second Scottish woman to pick up a medal in this event. Eilish McColgan got the silver in 2022. Keith adding bronze to that tally.
Well, there's confirmation of the win for Rose Davies, a double gold a week for her, over 10,000 and then 5,000. Jess Hull, a super silver. Megan Keith, a gutsy bronze there, one of the gutsiest I've seen in a long time. And Esther Chebet, well, the Ugandans, they still have no medal in this 5,000 metres. It's their 4th place. Laura Muir down in 16th place. We never really saw her. She wasn't a factor in the race. 15:19 for Muir.
So we're into round 5 in the women's discus. Hall's best throw coming at the start of round 4. 60 metres, 95 is enough, just a nudge ahead of Julia Tunks. It's quite a battle between the Jamaican and the Canadian unfolding here. Now with the throwing order reversed, Samantha Hall has the honour of concluding round 5. Looks like she's improved on her gold medal mark. Look at how close that silver and that gold and silver are, right on top of each other. Just 30 centimetres separating them at the moment, but I think that's going to change here. And all that. 61 metres, 66. She extends her lead over Julia Tunks.
So Amechi then. Now, she's lying in 6th place with 53.68 her opener, then a no throw, 53.44 for her in the 3rd round, then a couple of no throws. And Amechi, well, she's a 64-metre thrower at her absolute best. She's thrown far enough this season to take the gold medal position, but she's just not hitting her straps here tonight, and that one right down there, around 52 metres. Her sixth and final effort. It's a disappointing series from Pamela Oblajeri, Pamela Amechi of Nigeria. Bronze medalist 4 years ago, but tonight having to settle for 6th place. There it is, just 3 valid marks and 51.91 to close with. Looks like she's accepting it philosophically. The Cameroon athlete Moni next to go. Moni Nora Atim. Some confusion over her name. It's different on our computer from what's on our paperwork, but 60.04 this year. She's lying in 5th with 56.81. That came in round 3. All Africa Games bronze medalist a couple of years ago. African champion earlier on this summer in the discus. Oh, no, that one catches the cage. And a cry of frustration and anguish there from Nora Moni. The Cameroon athlete will finish in 5th place, and we're getting a clearer and clearer idea of the 3 athletes who will be medalists. Just the Indian pairing to throw, along with the Canadian Tunks and Hall of Jamaica, who has the lead. That Indian pairing, Seema in 3rd and Nidhi Rani in 4th.
They are measuring this throw here from Cameroonian athlete. I was pretty sure she walked out the front of the cage and collected her own discus.
I'm not quite sure what there is to discuss.
No, me neither.
Yeah, no, with the red.
I don't know, unless she feels like the cage wasn't set up correctly for her and that's why she found the netting.
Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? Was the thrower before her left-hand thrower, Amechi, the Nigerian? I don't think so.
Nora Atim just not sure what's going on there, but we'll see. Nidhi Rani, as she said, Tim, 2 Indian athletes here. Nidhi Rani in 4th place at the moment, best of 57.10. Now that's going to be shorter than her best, so no change for Nidhi Rani. She'll stay in 4th. Which means our medalists are decided. Just a few throws, 3 throws left to see if the order's going to change.
Yeah, it does confirm Seema as a medalist at these Commonwealth Games. She's both knees, heavily strapped Seema Kaliramna. 59.73. Season's best and her lifetime best. She's thrown 58.65 here tonight. That was in the 3rd round, very close to a lifetime best. Oh, she too puts one into the cage. She needed to find a couple of meters if she was to catch Tunks. Hasn't been able to do it. She is confirmed as the bronze medalist though, and it confirms the Canadian Julia Tunks as at least the silver medalist. Only she can deny Samantha Hall, the Jamaican, the gold medal.
Julia Tunks briefly held the lead earlier on in the competition. She was the first woman to surpass 60 metres, 67. She needs 1 more metre to regain the gold medal position. Samantha Hall is on 61 metres, 66. Tunks has thrown 63.58 this season. This cage has been kind to Canada so far. Gold in the hammer for the men and the women with Ethan Katzberg and Cameron Rogers. Can Tunks upgrade her silver to bronze to gold? Nope, she's hit the netting there. And that means it's gold for Hall. But Tunks there with that silver. It's the first Canadian medal in this event in 48 years. That silver matches her achievement of her father, Jason Tunks, who won 2 silvers for Canada. And her mother, Lilia Tunks, was actually a European Indoor Championship bronze medalist back in 2002. So she joins her parents with an international medal.
Samantha Hall then, another gold for Jamaica. What a week they're having. Small island nation producing fantastic athletes on the track and in the field. Samantha Tunks, can she celebrate here by throwing even further? No, she can't. Well, you know, just about every one of them in this final round has hit that right-hand side of the cage. Samantha Hall joins them all. It matters not a jot. 61.66 in the 5th round for her is good enough for gold. She had the second best throw as well with 60.95 in round 4. That would have been sufficient to take the Commonwealth title, and she is the champion. And well, Hall, as Hannah said, this will be the first ever medal and a gold medal for Jamaica after a 6th back in 2014. Wow. And that was here in Scotland. Of course, in here in Glasgow on the other side of town. Tunks been wearing those dark glasses right the way through the competition. I always say, well, I think we all know there's a saying, what is it? The eyes are the window to the soul. I'd love to see, get a glimpse of her eyes, see what she's thinking, but it doesn't matter. Tunks has thrown really well. She was last in the throwing order for those first 3 rounds. There it is, Samantha Hall of Jamaica. She is the Commonwealth champion, 61.66. The first time Jamaica have taken a medal of any colour in the discus for women, and it is a gold. Tunks takes silver for Canada, and Seema takes the bronze for India. Absolutely brilliant. Seema Kaliramna.
Medal ceremony for the men's shot put coming up, and then the final race of the 4th day here at the Commonwealth Games. It's going to be the women's 100-metre hurdles.
The medal ceremony for the men's shot.
But we'll pause to give these 3 men their moment.
Please welcome the medalists.
Here are the 3 medalists. Henrik Kwetsi not quite understanding where he's going to be mounting up the podium. They've adapted the podium here to ensure that the para-athletes can access their steps just as easily as anyone else. The bronze medal representing England goes to Scott Lincoln. It was a bronze in Birmingham for him as well. Irishman chuffed to pick up another medal, particularly after an agonising 4th at the World Indoor Championships in March. Best though came in the 2nd round, 20 metres 99.
Silver medalist representing New Zealand, Tom Walsh.
Silver medalist representing New Zealand, Tom Walsh. He was going for a hat-trick of titles here today in Glasgow. He couldn't quite pull it off, but he now has 4 medals in the shot put, the most of any man in this event. Career longevity of this guy, the sheer number of medals he's picked up at so many, all of the major championships, is super impressive.
Gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion.
It's a historic first gold for Nigeria in this event. Chukwuemeka Enekwechi. He took a silver in 2018. And now he's become the first ever Nigerian to lift the crown of the men's Commonwealth Games shot put. Medal and a miniature of the mascot Finny, which we can tell you are sold out in the merchandise store at the moment here in Glasgow. Probably needed them all for the medal ceremonies. But Enekwechi takes the gold in the men's shot put.
Of Nigeria.
actually looks delighted with his gold medal. Tom Walsh looks a bit disappointed with the silver, but I'm sure he will not take a major podium for granted. Scott Lincoln, he's still hungry for more, Lincoln. He's really, really consistent. There we go, they are going to fit all three of them up onto the top step of the podium for the photos.
Yeah, the big fellas, they look normal size, don't they, when you see them side by side like that in a group, but you get up close to them and you realise just how huge they are.
Over to the home straight for the final event here on day 4, the women's 100-metre hurdles. There's the full start list. Includes the world record holder, Toby Amersan, the winner last time round and the time before. She's going for a hat-trick. We've just seen Tom Walsh, who didn't manage to pull that off. And Amersan, the next person to try that feat. Tatiana Aloho of Canada will go in lane 1. National champion this year, made the semi-final of the World Indoor Championships. And she's broken her lifetime best from 12.66 this year. Michelle Jenica of Australia will take lane 2. This is her 4th Commonwealth Games and her 4th final. She has been 5th, 4th and 5th in the last 3 Commonwealth Games. Will it will be tonight? Marion Fori of South Africa will make her way over to lane 3. African silver medalist a couple of years ago. This is her first global final. Toby Amersan, 2-time Commonwealth Games champion, the 2022 World Champion, silver in Tokyo last year, and she's the world record holder. She ran super quick, 12.19 with the following win this morning. Megan Simmons of Jamaica is next out, the 2021 Olympic Games bronze medalist, 5th in Tokyo last year, 4th in Birmingham at the last Commonwealth Games. Charlton picked up the silver 4 years ago in Birmingham, and she's been brilliant indoors since then. 3 world indoor titles and a world indoor record. She was also 6th in that Tokyo final last summer. Lane 7 goes to Karika Hill of Jamaica. Double world junior champion, won that title in 2022 and 2024. Final athlete out in lane 8. Yvonne Britton of Ghana, the national record holder with her season's best of 12.86. She hasn't actually run any races since, or she hadn't till this morning when she made it through to this final. Toby Amersan, the outstanding favourite here, going for 3 in a row. No one has won 3 women's hurdles heats finals in a row at the Commonwealth Games. Sally Pearson won a couple. Megan Simmons, one of her challengers, Jamaica, haven't won this title since 2006, and Simmons is in great form. Devon Charlton, so quick out of the blocks.
On your marks.
The final of the women's 100-metre hurdles. Alohu in 1, Jenica in 2, Fori in 3, Amersan, the world record holder, in 4, Simmons, the Olympic medalist, in 5, Charlton, the world indoor record holder, in 6, Hill in 7, and Britton in lane 8.
Set.
The race to the first hurdle is on. It's won by Devon Charlton, unsurprisingly. Megan Simmons right alongside her. There's a lot of work here to do for Toby Amersan. She's grimacing. We're going to have a new champion. Devon Charlton of the Bahamas cuts the tape. 12.33 with a 2.5 following wind. Amersan came unstuck there. It was pretty early on. Toby Amersan could not get on terms with Devon Charlton and Megan Simmons. That's her first ever gold in this event for the Bahamas. Charlton, we know she's good indoors, and she's working so hard to take that indoor form to the full distance outdoors. She set a new lifetime best this year at 12.37. She's a bit quicker there with that following wind, but what a run from Charlton and a brilliant second from Simmons.
Well, I don't know what happened to Toby Amersan there. That was not the Toby Amersan we've come to know. 12.60 for the bronze medal. She can run metres quicker than that. Very, very unlike the Nigerian to underperform. I wonder if there is a problem behind the scenes that we don't know about. Devon Charlton, a very worthy champion, of course, world record holder indoors, and there was no stopping her here tonight. And I think even if Amersan had been in very good form, she might have had trouble beating the Bahamian. You're right, Hannah. Charlton was a worthy winner. Megan Simmons matched her virtually stride for stride, only having to give ground over the last couple of flights, being beaten by about a metre. But Amazan smiling there. She gets on the rostrum when clearly that was her operating at below par. I wonder what the issue was. You know, in 2024, she went out the semi-finals of the Olympic Games in Paris when she was world record holder. I wonder whether there was another problem we just simply haven't been told about. She's kept to herself, and that's a good. If it is the case, that's always a good thing, because, you know, for your competitors, you don't want to be making excuses.
Amazan's looking down at her feet. She's still trying to take part in the photos here. She's trying to get herself back involved in the photos. And I think it's a real sign of a high-quality athlete there, Amazan, that in a race that wasn't going her way, she still muscled out a bronze. We focus here on Charlton and Simmons, these two pushing each other. They were each responding to the move, either side of them, but Charlton, over the last couple of barriers, well, that's not her strength. She's good over the first 5 or 6, and Charlton has unleashed the last 20 metres on the other female hurdlers to great effect here this evening in Glasgow. That's her first outdoor title, Charlton, after so many indoor titles, and Megan Simmons, a bronze at the Olympic Games back in Tokyo, and then she struggled after that. She just found some form in the last year or so, and that is a well-deserved silver for the Jamaican.
Wasn't it just, but Charlton's form was never in doubt. She held her form really well. She so often gets hunted down outdoors by the best names in the world, but tonight that wasn't to be the case. Masai Russell, 12.14, the quickest in the world this year. Indeed, it was at that race that she beat Toby Amazan in China right at the beginning of the summer season on the 23rd of May. Amazan then ran 12.28, and you would normally expect her to get quicker and quicker. Devon Charlton, third on that occasion, ironically. But the winner here today, and the one that really matters, where the medals are up for grabs.
Women's 100-metre hurdles, a surprise win for Devon Charlton, 12.33. Megan Simmons, the silver, 12.41. And Toby Amazan, the pre-event favourite, has to settle for third in 12.60.
Well, the medal ceremony now for the women's triple jump. And these athletes, in a small women's field, only 6 starters in that women's triple jump final, have nonetheless entertained the crowd royally here tonight. Brendan Williams, executive board member, making the presentations here. So Shantae Foreman of Jamaica takes the bronze. This was yet another discipline where the Jamaicans are added to their medal tally. They took 2, the bronze and the silver. Foreman going out to 13.96 with the very first jump, but she couldn't improve upon it, even though she got stronger winds in rounds 5 and 6. 13.96 remained the best for Foreman. She has jumped 14.24 this year. That would have been good enough to take the silver here tonight, but it was her teammate Akeelia Smith who did that. 14.04 coming in the 6th and final round for her. She did jump 14 metres in round 2, so she was already in second place. Her teammate Foreman couldn't find the extra 4 or 5 centimetres to take second at any point, but just to ensure she could move further away from her teammate, she jumped 14.04 in that 6th round for the silver. But the champion, the Commonwealth champion for Dominica, is Thea Lafond. 14 metres 60 coming in round 4 for her. She totally dominated. Her 5 valid jumps, all good enough for gold. 14.52, 14.23, 14.59, and then 14.60. I mean, talk about dialed in, landing within less than half an inch of your previous jump with that 4th round best effort. Then 14.37 in round 5. Absolutely superb from Thea Lafond. Well, the Olympic champion becomes Commonwealth champion. She won the World Indoor title in 2024 as a precursor to that Olympic gold in Paris. She took the silver 4 years ago in Birmingham, but how she has moved on, winning here tonight by, well, in triple jumping terms, a country mile, over half a metre between herself and Akelia Smith. But Jamaica, well, they're on fire this week. Silver and bronze in that women's triple jump contest.
Now, valuable medals for Jamaica. They're third in the medal table overall, 8 medals in total. It's a tie at the top, though, for Australia and Canada. Australia helped today by a second gold medal for Rose Davis in that 5,000 metres. We've crowned 7 more Commonwealth Games champions this evening here on day 4 of the Athletics and Para-Athletics Championships. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary from myself, Hannah England, from Tim Hutchins and from Danny Crates. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning. We'll be back at 10 o'clock local time.
To go to the track and do what I love, and then come home and then play with them, just be a father. It's challenging at times, it's stressful, but it's